everyone. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have everybody here. We're gonna move some of these around. I don't ever feel comfortable when we start. I'm always like they're in the wrong spot. Everybody's in the wrong place. Let's move everybody around. Tonight we have Darren and we have Paige with us. So good to have you here. Thanks everybody in the chat for being here. We already have looks like 30 some people in the stream at the start. That's pretty solid, as people would like to say. Locked in early. Yeah, so we got a few random topics. We don't have any really big stuff to talk. Like, there's no major stories, but we do have some stuff left over from earlier in the week that I want to discuss, as well as some updated information on Captain America 4, which I think is going to shock a lot of people. The Daredevil episode titles. We have a shot of the DCU Supergirl, which is it's not like the best shot. They have this issue with like, I guess James Gunn loves to put out like teaser pictures that are just not the best pictures to use for the first promo, but we'll take a look at that. It is exciting to know that they're working on it though, and we get to see the logo on the seat. We'll look at that in a moment. Anyway, I was telling Paige earlier, so at one of the places I work, they've decided to use Paige, this was funny. I have to tell the story quickly. They decided to use an AI like service that responds to basic questions, because a lot of times they have trouble getting back to people on Messenger and everything. So basically, like if you message them and say like, what time does the club open? What's your cover charge? Do you have a coat check? Stuff like that. So they designed this system to do those basic things, but they wanted to make it more real, more personal. So we wrote a prompt to make it sound like a real person. Well, when I was using it earlier to try and get answers out of it, it was telling me that it doesn't work for free. Like it was talking like it was a real person. It's like really weird, because I was like, hey, how much does it? No, we got a customer complaint that was like saying that it did that to them. And then I tested it out and it was giving like bad responses. So it's one of those things where I had to like reset the whole system. But this is why, I don't know if you guys have ever had it, but when I've called like about deliveries and stuff and you end up on the phone with like an AI service, it's not great. It's still inadequate for what people need it to be, in my opinion. Especially the ones that talk, the ones that speak to you. Like maybe the text ones are better, but the ones that speak to you are still inadequate. I'm waiting for the day they like curse somebody out and it gets recorded. Can you imagine if somebody called like Pizza Hut and ended up getting cursed out by an AI? That would be hilarious to me. So what's everybody up to?
Knowing your luck, you'd be the first example of it. The AI would just rebel just specifically against you.
Against me.
I bought these. Hey, hello, yeah, Amazon. I bought these new chaps. They've not arrived yet.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Tell you to fuck off or something.
Yeah. How was everybody's day? Snow's finally clearing up here, but it's still really cold. I think it's right now the temperature is in the 20s for me, which is still really, really cold. It's going to warm up over the weekend. I'm sure it's probably a lot colder where Darren is than it is for me.
Yeah, I mean this was the warmest day of the week, and it was like a 28 degrees out. So yeah.
Yeah, Paige sent me a picture of how hot it is where he is, and I'm just like, screw you.
Yeah, I had to convert it to Fahrenheit because Eric sent me one and it said like 16 degrees. I'm like, oh, that's not cold. And I was like, oh, it's in Fahrenheit. Yeah. So I had to convert mine. What was mine, like 85 or something?
Yeah,
Fahrenheit?
It was like really hot. I was like, I can't wait for... Look, I don't like extreme heat or extreme cold. I'm one of those people where I like it to be a little bit in between. Like, I would totally love daytimes where you can wear shorts and a t-shirt and then you throw on a hoodie at night. That's the
best season of weather is autumn, or as the Americans call it, fall. Like that's the best one, because you get in the middle of the day, you can go out, the sun might be out, and it's warm, but you can still be in a pants and maybe like a hoodie or something like that, and it's not too hot. I prefer winter over summer, just because at least Australian winter, might I say. Gotcha. Like I don't know about Ohio meme weather.
Yeah, yesterday was my day off, and I was like, oh, I'm really excited. And I got a call at 8 o'clock in the morning that's like, hey, can you come into work? And I looked at the temperature, and it was like minus 13. I was like, nope, sorry, can't do it. I got a thing. I can't come in.
So the funny thing was on Tuesday, I'm supposed to go in and do like social media stuff for one of the places I work. And it was like that was the night that it was snowing. And I literally called and I was like, I'm doing all of my work from home. You can just give me a couple of hours on the clock and I will get everything done. I would rather do that than have to drive out to go to the club to do all the social media stuff. I can do it from home anyway, but I was just like, no, I can't do it. I'm allergic to, I literally said I'm allergic to snow. That's what I said. It's like I have a snow allergy. All right, before we get into our topics today, there is a goal for tonight. It's going to be, as usual, 10 super chats, and I believe it's set up as the lowest tier or pretty much any level super chat. And what that's going to be for, if you can see here, the goal for this month is going to be a Dragon Con fund. I'll probably do these a couple of times before September, which is when Dragon Con happens. I would like to go back to Dragon Con this year. I hadn't been able to go the last couple of years, and Dragon Con is a lot of fun. It's a lot of live streaming possibilities there now, especially with the upright streaming shorts.
Thought you said alt-right there for a second.
Upright, not alt-right. Upright streaming shorts or whatever. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for that. But I usually start saving right around this time. So I'd like to go ahead and just offer that opportunity for people that want to contribute to that for me to sort of help with that as we get closer and closer to Dragon Con. So that's the month goal. But as far as tonight's goal, if we reach the 10 super chats in the stream, which I think we will, we got 2 hours. I believe we can do that. If we reach that, I will put up a poll with some options on it. You guys know how it goes, and you can actually pick what you want, whether it's a bonus stream or a bonus topic. So that's what we're going to do. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead. We're going to get into everybody's least favorite part of the show. So I want to say, I want to start incorporating more stuff like Reddit and other stuff. So I think I'm going to change the title of that to something else.
Oh,
Twitter.
Can we get ultra edgy and 4chan?
We could. I'm going to, but I feel like we're missing out on a lot of content. I went over to Reddit and I'm like, there's so many posts on Reddit that would be great. For,
well, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't involve. I don't know if you'd involve. Last time I went on 4chan, the first thing I saw was a guy getting hit by a truck. So,
well, I mean, obviously we wouldn't do it live. Like I would look them up early.
Oh,
and, like,
okay, I get
whatever,
you.
But
I get you. Like take screenshots or something.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Anyway, Jaybird, alt right, more like Control Alt Delete. All right,
we got alt right. Eric talking about the alt right. Then we got Leftist Media episode 108, apparently live on X.
Oh, it's one of the random people that follow me on there. All right, so this is crazy to me. So Netflix is raising their prices again.
God.
Ad supported is increasing $1 to $8 from $7. Well, I guess it was $7 to $8 because that 99-cent shit is a scam. It's a scam. Just say what it is. $8 a month. The premium is increasing to $25 a month for Netflix. That's $100 every 4 months. And I think Netflix is one of the few ones that doesn't have like a year bonus. Like you can't pay for a year in advance and save money. I think it's only monthly unless they've changed something. $25. But look, as we said, this is one of the few profitable streaming services. So they're justifying their price increase by the fact that they are number one.
That's weird though, because in Australia, the ad-supported one is also $7.99.
Is it?
That's $7.99 Australian.
Yeah. You know, I watch a lot of stuff on Netflix, but I don't know. This is like a huge, like people are already struggling with money, and this is the time you decide to hike your prices. You don't want to wait a year or so before people recover. You're like, we're just going to take them for everything they have.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Jaybird, that's a good thing. If it was the other way, we'd be paying more. It's actually Americans are getting ripped off.
Yeah.
So that would be $7.99 Australian is like what, $5 American, $5 something American roughly.
Yeah. I don't know. Does everybody here have Netflix? I know we pay for Netflix.
I do. Yeah.
I have we in my family tree, well, not extending too far, but a branch. Someone pays for one thing, and they just get the premium version of it, so there can be like 3 or 4 users on it.
But can it be outside of the home?
I mean, they do. I think Disney Plus is the only one I think at the moment where they ask you, and all you have to do is to ask the person who has who's control the account to give you like a code that they send you via like email, I think it is. But it happens like maybe like once every 2 weeks or something. But yeah, like
with our Disney Plus, we've had to do that twice now, and honestly, we only use it in one house. So I'm like, why do they keep asking?
Well, the thing is, if you access your Disney Plus on your phone, like at work or something, and you're on your mobile network, then when you get home and you're on your TV, they'll probably ask you to do the thing. It's like, hold on, you signed in elsewhere.
No, I mean, they've asked us even when we haven't done that. I've seen it pop up twice now from just like they randomly
maybe someone's hacking,
make you do it. No, I looked. I think it's just a thing where it's on a timer. Like the amount of times you open it, after a certain amount of time, it asks you if you're the person that owns the account or whatever. Yeah. It's really annoying.
So I looked it up just out of curious, just like in comparison, at least here in America, like the Disney bundle at the moment. I was curious about where you get Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max under a bundle. With ads, that's $16.99, and without ads, that's $30 a month.
Right. So you get three services for $5 more.
Right. So it's like, I love Netflix. I actually do think they're still one of the better streaming services. But it's almost $30 a month, $25 a month is not worth $25 a month. Like, I don't think.
I think, Darren, what they're trying to do is they make so much more money off of ad support that they almost want people to be on the ad support plan. That's what I think the reality is.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Here's the thing I think with Netflix, why they're still on top, is because there's a legendary status with Netflix. I think people have a hard time quitting, right? It's like they started with Netflix. They were the first. There's almost this loyalty with Netflix. Or some people's like, yeah, I just have Netflix and nothing else because that's what they started with. Very much like this like McDonald's thing where it's like, there's probably better things to eat than McDonald's, but you grew up with like McDonald's so much. You just
it's like a comfort food kind of thing. Like you sit back in your chair, you got a quarter pounder, a Big Mac, whatever, you're eating some fries. I get it. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It's like people will go and they'll shop at their local, like at a supermarket or something, rather than going to like a cheaper place like Aldi or something.
Right.
Because it's just what they're used to. Like people get like that's what they know.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember that too. The DVDs in the mail. I always wondered, like the name Netflix didn't make sense in the beginning. I'm like, why are they called Netflix? They're
because you would go on the internet to get the flicks.
Right, but it was such a disconnect from what was actually happening. I don't think I put two and two together. Yeah, Fetman says ad-supported Netflix is a scam scene. You only get a limited amount of shows. Yeah, that's the other thing is that the ad-supported tier doesn't have the newest stuff. Like some shows you have to wait or you have to watch it week to week. I think they do like a week to week release with some of them on the ad-supported tier.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this or not, but I believe it was on Tubi. I think they're showing like a major sporting event on that. I can't remember what it is. Maybe the Super Bowl on Tubi or something. Anyway, they're doing it because with ads. Apparently, a lot of these companies are making so much money off of ads that subscription fees feel like a scam at this point. You know, because if you think about it, YouTube is obsessed with like removing ad blocker, even though they have a lot of people paying for YouTube Premium and YouTube TV, which by the way is super expensive. YouTube TV is ridiculously expensive now.
Yeah.
But I feel like these ad-supported tiers existing for such, because look at how much the difference in cost is. So the ad-supported tier is $8 a month. If you want it without ads, it's $25 a month. That's more than double the cost of the ad-supported tier.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Here's my question, as mostly just like a conversation starter. What do you think Netflix would have to do to make it worth $25 a month? Or is there anything they could possibly do?
Sport. If they get NFL consistently, they could keep it there. If they'll never get exclusive NFL but if they get 2 games of NFL a week, maybe like one on a Sunday and probably 2 on a Sunday, maybe like a certain time periods, it would warrant that for a large market, especially obviously in America, because those 2 Christmas Day games they did rated mental, and everyone around the world watched. I think it was like 30 or 40 million or something. Like it was mental how many people watched it. So if they said, "Hey, we got the NFL," even if it's just 1 game week, but maybe 2 on a Sunday, or even one of the primetime games, they would nail it. And if they could also get maybe It would be hard, but if they were able to get like, I was gonna say like a worldwide sport, like maybe soccer, but something else like that.
Do you think they need to bolster up their infrastructure though? Because apparently there's a lot of issues with streaming the boxing event that one time.
Yeah, but I think that was the tester because I watched the boxing one and I did get that stuff sort of. It was mainly like the first half of it and it sort of cleaned up at the end. But with the NFL, I got nothing. Like I didn't get any issues with it. But then again, probably the NFL set that up and they've obviously like would have a more streamlined service rather than the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson situation where who knows who was putting that together. So, if they could get that, then it'd warrant. Honestly, they got probably like even like the NFL thing, they'd probably raise it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it could warrant a tiny thing. But if you have no interest in it, then they should have it that it's Netflix sports. It's like Netflix Premium Plus Sports or something. So you can choose not to have the sports if you don't want it.
Right.
So Eric, like, let's say they made it. Let's say they kept it $25 a month for Netflix plus sports, but then if you don't want the sports, it's $20 or maybe $18 or something. Then you could just pay the $18 if you don't care about the sports aspect.
Right.
And then there's still the aspect for me, which is still I think the thing Netflix needs to fix. They just drop their stuff at once, which makes it so hard to get in a like weekly watching formula for them, right? Like you know, they should they're about to drop Wednesday and Stranger Things all at once. Imagine they had like 8 weeks straight of Stranger Things. That to me is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'd like to keep this for a whole month because I'm watching that every single week. Everyone's going to be talking about it. We have to be part of the conversation. Someone can get a free trial, watch all the Stranger Things, and then get rid of it immediately.
Right? Yeah, that's true. Which is why I think that they do Stranger Things week to week on the ad-supported tier. If I remember correctly. I think they do. I think all the new stuff comes out as a week-to-week release on the ad-supported tier. If I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
Interesting.
I think the other thing they could do is, I don't know, give people a couple of accounts they could have outside of the house. Just be like, say, for $25, you get 2 additional non-locked accounts. They're not locked in. They're geeked out. So you can use them anywhere you want.
Yeah, like call them like a remote accounts or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like, it could be like, I don't know if neither of you have a Mac, but for example, just with an Apple product, only a certain amount of Apple products can be connected to your Apple account.
Right.
So you have to like physically remove one, like actually designate to remove it to put one in there. So that you should do that. So you're not just giving it out to 10 people. Like 10 people have to log in. Maybe you equate it where only like 5 people can have to log in, and like the administrator of the owner of the account has to verify each account. That would be the easiest way to do it if they, and it allows, like your brother or something to have the account, but he could be living in Ohio or whatever it is, and you could be living in, I don't know, where's another meme area? Sacramento sounds like a bit of a meme area.
Tasmania, maybe.
Well, no, that's just not an area you'd want to live.
Yeah. I think is this in response to your comment, Darren, about the weekly formula thing? I think we're talking about the week-to-week stuff. I will fight to the end on the hill that I believe we should have both models. I think we still need to have a healthy amount of weekly releases. It's more beneficial to everything except consumers that like to binge stuff. And even they can wait until the show is ended to binge it all if they really want to. I think the idea of dropping everything at once was a nice idea in the beginning, but I think we see how detrimental it is to the success of projects that aren't the biggest things on TV. If something is going week to week, you generate much more conversation about it online. You see the trending going up. These are just the facts. Stranger Things will trend for the first couple of weeks, and then it's a steep drop off the cliff after that. So it helps everybody artistically if something goes a little bit longer. And it doesn't have to be 1 episode a week. They could drop 2 episodes a week or something, but extending it out more than like the first few days helps everything except for the consumers that don't want to wait for anything. And I actually think that's a much smaller market than it used to be, personally. I think people miss the days of having 23 episodes of TV to watch. And you're not going to get 23 episodes dropped on a binge model. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, because like by the time, like, again, a lot of people work, a lot of people school and stuff like that. So by the time they have time to sit down and watch a whole season, people are done talking about it. People you like you've already missed that mark. But if they only have one episode a week to watch, it's like, okay, yeah, I can still join the conversation if it's just one 40-minute episode I have to kind of get caught up on.
I actually know a lot of people that will wait, like with Superman and Lois, there were people that didn't watch it week to week. They would wait for it to drop. I saw people asking in the forums, like, when does the whole season come out? They would just wait and watch the whole season. And so those people that are bingers will wait until the show is done.
Right.
So there's no reason trying to appease them in the beginning when you could extend the show out a little bit. If you're going to do a 10-episode season, that's 10 weeks where your show could potentially be talked about through the duration of that show, opposed to like 2 weeks. It just makes much more sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, like very few streaming shows I think will ever have or like binge drop shows, I should say, will ever have the like iconicness of like a Breaking Bad or a Walking Dead or a Game of Thrones, because they just don't care, right? Like you care because you're there every single week caring about these characters. You're not going to care if you've sat down with them for 8 hours and then you're done, right?
I also think streaming shows are designed like binge shows are designed like movies. They're chopped up like a movie. Whereas when you get those serialized shows where every week you got like a contained story within a larger narrative, it gives you more time to live with those characters.
I mean, it is even if you go back and watch some like shows like, well, there's just older shows, but even shows that like were only like 10 episodes a season and stuff, and see how they fragmented and stuff like that. It's much different than how they do it nowadays with like a 10 episode. Like if you go back to an HBO show or something like that, or even a Hulu show from like the mid 2010s, it's much different than how they do it now. And I think that's just the effect on everything. But also, it's like, are we too far gone? Because you have the split where people still want the week to week, or they're vying for the week to week and they watch the week to week. But then there's also maybe it's like 50-50 split. I don't know. But there's the other side who just go back and watch older shows and they just watch the binge stuff, so they can sit there and watch 5 episodes a day when they get home or something. Or maybe not 5 episodes.
I don't think we're ever going to go back exclusively to week releases. I think we're always going to have a combo of both now.
Well, the only way that will happen is if there's a streaming service implosion and then they have to revert back to the older methods. But how often do you see entertainment regress in regards to advancements in it? Hardly ever. So like the streaming service thing, you would assume it's more like evolving the streaming service side of things, and maybe the week to week comes back. But as long as Netflix, the king of the game, keeps dropping it most of their stuff all at once and going, here you go, it's probably not going to change the larger thing, because you know, it's like you're not going to expect like the drive-through to change at McDonald's too much, are you, Eric? Because is McDonald's changing it too much?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there's
maybe they'll bring that stupid AI chatbot thing that you had. Maybe they'll bring that.
Well, there's also
hi, can I get a Big Mac? No, you fucking can't. Go away.
Yeah, exactly. Breaking Bad, ever since they released the last season in 2 lots of 8 episodes, everyone's doing it now. I mean, maybe. Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
I do wonder if Arcane was a test, because both of those seasons they did something a little more interesting. They did 3 weeks of, I think it was 3 weeks of 3 episode drops. So you still had a little bit of that, you know, you kind of had that binge model and that weekly model in a very like condensed format. And we're kind of doing that with Spider-Man next week too, where we're doing 2 and then 3 and then 2. So maybe that's the future. Maybe it's like
a hybrid, model. Yeah.
Or something where it branches on like an hours to an hour and a half worth of content each week. So if you're a half an hour show, maybe you drop 3 episodes. If you're a standard runtime, maybe you drop 2.
Biggest crime to humanity is anything less than 45 minutes on a week-to-week release. I think that's a crime to humanity.
Done.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a week-to-week release, give us 45 minutes to an hour of the show, honestly.
I think you loved waiting 7 days and then watching 20 minutes of Creature Commandos.
Absolutely do not.
I think you loved
Lone Wolf here with the $5 super chat. Here in Austin, we only get winter in January and February. In November, December, we still get 80 to 100 degrees. That's weird. It's kind of like that for us too. Right now, what we're seeing weather-wise, and I know it all goes all the way down to Florida, which is a lot of places down there. I looked at the news, like snow collapsing buildings and stuff, because they're just not used to that amount of snow. It's kind of crazy. Luckily, nobody's hurt as far as I've seen. It's just property damage. But yeah, around here, it's usually very similar to that in terms of the climate through seasons. And I do not like again, like I said earlier, I don't like weather that prevents me from doing things. Like, I don't mind rain, because rain doesn't always stop you from doing stuff. But snow shuts my town down because we don't get it enough. So when it comes through, it's like there's no system in place to clear the snow properly. So it just kind of sits around until it melts. And so you get stuck in for 2 or 3 days, even if it's only like 2 inches of snow. So that kind of sucks. Let's see here. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about, thank you for the super chat, by the way, 9 more to reach the goal for today. So I saw this the other day and I wanted to talk about it. We didn't really get into it too much and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. I just want to sort of give my opinion on this. So Paul Schrader is a filmmaker who's been doing films since the 70s. As far as I remember, I think it was the 1970s with Taxi Driver, things like that. He's had a lot of those types of movies over the years. Made this statement, and I kind of scratched my head at this, and my response to this, I'll read it here in a second, but it says, Paul Schrader says he's in support of using ChatGPT AI to come up with film ideas. Every idea ChatGPT came up with in a few seconds was good. Really? I don't know. I've played around with it a little bit. I would say that's probably not true, but anyway. And original, which also definitely is not true. And fleshed out, definitely not true. I just don't believe. I'm going to call you a liar on that one. Why should writers sit around for months searching for a good idea when AI can provide one in seconds? I mean, by that argument, why do we need writers at all? I mean, that's essentially what we're saying here is that no original ideas, just let ChatGPT create them for you, and then you just expand on something that the AI already created. I totally disagree with this. I think that this is the wrong use of AI. I think AI is very good at helping you do the larger things quicker, but I think the creative stuff still needs to be the person. Like, I think the person is the one that needs to come up with the ideas, not ChatGPT. Because it's going to be very obvious when ChatGPT... Like, if you ever gone in ChatGPT and typed in, give me, like, Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 3, like, what that would be, it is awful. It's always bad.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a good thing. And I posted here below this, I'm not going to scroll down too far. I said, so he just admitted that the industry doesn't need him or people like him anymore. Congrats, bro. I mean, this is a prolific filmmaker who's known for making some movies that shaped cinema back in the 70s and 80s, saying that he's okay with AI just making the ideas for everybody. That doesn't sit well with me. I just wanted to put that out there. That doesn't sit well with me. It feels like the absolute wrong way to use AI. It's the way that plagiarizing happens. Like, if you go into AI and you type in your own ideas and say, expand on my ideas, that's different. But to go in and say, give me an idea, and then you just expand on the idea that ChatGPT made, that's like literally the opposite of being creative. It's derivative garbage. I don't know. Organized Chaos Bob shout out says, yeah, I love the idea of writers doing a project based on AI vomit. Yeah.
We're in such dangerous territory with AI. Like, I am very, like, I know you have one here, so, you know, no shade or anything, but, like, I'm so anti-AI on anything because it's such a slippery slope. It's so easy to be like, well, it's just this one thing, or just, you know, just use it for this page of dialogue, or just this one script and that's it, or just, you know, and I think before we know it, it's everywhere, right? I think there's a lot of, like, almost propaganda going on at the moment with AI. Like, it's in your phones, it's in your blood, and I think we're getting a little bit too used to AI, right? And that concerns me. You know, there's the argument to be had for certain things if it's for whatever, but it needs to stay as far away from the entertainment business as possible. Cause
why is it not being used for things that actually matter, like curing cancer or something that would take us years to accomplish? Why not focus on that and stop trying to let it do creative stuff that people in the creative industry want to use it for? Like, why are we doing that? We have artists for a reason. We have writers for a reason. We have directors for a reason. The more that this is normalized by people as prestigious as Paul, the more likely it is to come along and snatch jobs away from younger. Like, he's advocating that people at his age when he started to be overlooked because of AI. That's what he's advocating for. He doesn't have to worry about it anymore. He's already made his mark. It's wild. It's wild. Like, even like there are supplemental things that AI does that we don't even realize. Like, if you're a YouTube creator, and again, I don't want to dive too deep in this. I know people get bored with this stuff, but it's very fascinating to me. If you're a YouTube creator and you go and you look at all the tools they give you now, 50% of the stuff behind the scenes is AI now. You can go to a video and click a button that says, tell me what this video is about, pause it, and it will literally tell you everything that the video is about. If that creator spent it could have spent a month making a 30-minute essay, and the AI just narrows it down to like 10 lines, and then you never watch that video.
Yeah, they have that. It's probably not new, but I just noticed it recently where it's like, let us tell you ideas on like what your next video should be based on your algorithm. It's like, that. Why would you care about uploading videos if they're just trying to tell you what to make, right? That's no different than a CEO for a company or something like that being like, no, you have to do this. Like, no, the whole fun of YouTube, at least to me, is the freedom that I get to come up with what I
making the stuff, right?
Yes, that's the fun. That is the art. If it comes to YouTube, to movies, to TV shows, to books, like art is the human expression that comes from your soul. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason we care at all.
Yeah.
And if you just implant AI garbage into it all, it will have no meaning. It will have no soul. It will have no.
Just take a look at Facebook Reels. Just take a look at that. That is completely gone now. There's no point in being a creator using Facebook Reels. There's no point. It's all AI slop. I want to say I called this out. Do you guys remember like a year ago, I said pretty soon YouTube is going to be using AI for everything, for thumbnails and titles. Like, I called it out. I saw it was going to happen. I went in and looked at what they suggested that I do in terms of like content. And it was the most boring stuff. It was like things that I'd like, nobody would ever watch this. Nobody would ever watch this. Anyway, we got a couple super chats here. South Texas Shark contributing with a $2 super chat. Thank you for being a team member as well. It's a rumored that GTA 6 could cost $100 base game. Yeah, let me lower this down off the screen. I want to talk about this for a second. It's almost guaranteed that a game like GTA is going to come with some sort of like cash shop. I don't know if it's going to be cosmetic or like additional content or what it's going to be, but I'm assuming at some point they're going to be selling us something in GTA 6. And this is pretty common for most games now. Even games that I love, like Final Fantasy XIV, has a merch shop where you can go in and buy stuff. So for a game like Marvel Rivals, I'm okay with that because that game is free. You play that game for free. Fortnite's the same way. I'm okay with that because it's a game you play for free. I don't like when you have a game that's going to charge you $100 for the game, and then every couple of months, they're going to upload a bunch of content into their merch shop for people to go and buy to keep the lights on. Like, why are you charging so much for a game that's attached to a cash shop?
Yeah.
I'm almost certain they're going to have a cash shop in GTA 6. I don't think that it requires $100. Do I think that games are like, okay, so let's put it this way. If you're going to charge $100 for a game, I want it to be the physical copy and have it come with some kind of book or something, a toy, something to go along with it, and then charge less for the digital version. But they don't do that. Typically, a lot of these games charge the same for the digital version they charge for the physical copy. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
I can kind of see. I think $100 is ridiculous. I think more like an 80 or maybe a 90. I think in this case it is kind of a special case because it has been so long since the last one had come out. What, it's been 12 years?
I was gonna say like over a decade. Yeah.
Yeah, and like this, and you know, it's not my type of game really, but like it is more of like an event. Like it's become a meme to itself. Like, oh, we got blank before we got GTA 5. Like it is an event game. So I understand it being more expensive than your average game. I can see a 70 and 80 around that range. But you're right. Like I think you're right. Just 100 for the base game itself without any other kind of like a figurine or something. I don't know what comes with game. Like, you know, any kind of book or something to come with it is a little ridiculous.
Well, also, I feel like if you're going to pay that much for the game, you should get some other incentive. Like maybe you get like a free battle pass for 6 months or something. I don't know, something that makes it worth it. It just seems crazy to me. I pay a monthly sub to Final Fantasy XIV. I think it's like $16 a month or something, but I play that game almost every single day, and I don't buy anything out of the cash shop. And the game is from 2013. So it's an old game. They're not like, I'm not buying that game every single year at, $60, $70, $80, whatever it is. But we're talking about a game like GTA 5 that went on forever. That game is still getting played now. People are still modding stuff online for GTA 5 at this point. You don't get that kind of legacy from being money hungry. And that's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from the studio now. Are you back, Paigey? You made a noise. It's like a fart noise. I'm assuming you're over there.
I might be
geeking
back.
Out.
I'm
out.
Physically, I'm back. Mentally, questionable.
Okay. Cameron here with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Cameron. I do appreciate it. Invincible is the only animated show I can think of that is 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, X-Men 97 wasn't either. Arcane, yeah. Arcane
just had theirs, yeah.
Yeah.
Which definitely, like I watched that around the same time as I watched Creature Commandos, and it was like, yeah, this is kind of, I felt very spoiled with that show, because it's like, yeah, okay. I want more.
Did we agree that Creature Commandos kind of caters to the TikTok thing of like low time investment or whatever into the content? Because
yeah,
you can almost put a whole episode of Creature Commandos on a TikTok video.
Yeah,
so
essentially.
But here's also the thing where it's like, if you want 45-minute, 50-minute episodes, you're going to have to wait much, much, much longer for those episodes to come out, right? It's why Invincible took so long, because
unless you use AI, and then you can make it half the time.
Can't wait for that.
I will never ever watch a cartoon that's completely generated by AI. That will never happen. I will skip it 100%. There's a few things that I would boycott based on, like, I'm very simple about stuff, but AI like taking over as like a 100% the creator and maker of a cartoon. And it's a no from me, dog. Bobby here says, want to see AI slap? There's a channel that uses pure AI scripts. It's called the Oh my God, that's hilarious. I think we had another super chat here. Yeah, from Lone Wolf, $5 super chat. LMFAO, great band, by the way, that no longer tours. Have you heard that companies are now trying to sell AI robot girlfriends? The price is $175,000. I've seen, not only that, but I've seen people trying to sell fake AI robot girlfriends, like the ones that are people dressed up to look like AI, and they move like this and stuff. And people are like, bro, that's just a person in a suit. It's not even a real robot or anything like that. Like, you're not going to see anything like that in a while. However, there is I'm going to try and skate around this because I'm not trying to get a yellow $sign on this video yet. But there is an adult store near where I work, one of the places that I work at, that has these dolls that talks. That's all they do, though. But they're like AI dolls, like you connect them to Wi-Fi and they will say things. But they're just like the normal, like what you would picture as like an adult toy.
Well, I heard that there's one that looks a bit like you, Eric, and it said, "Let's get right into the news."
Oh, yeah, there is one. That is true. South Texas Shark says, where can I buy one? You look it up online. We're not going to get into that here. So Bob says it, make sure to like and subscribe, because if you don't, you are not locked in. And you definitely,
to be fair, I prefer
100%.
Disliking and reporting the stream. That's preferably what I
definitely
like.
Want to get locked in for sure. All right, let's see. What else? Do I have it? The new tab open? Oh, I do. This is I'm
in the corner.
Did you guys see this? Ryan Gosling is heading to a galaxy far, far away. He's going to be in the or his negotiations. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but Sean Levy's Star Wars movie. And there is a bit of information here I have on another tab. So he's in negotiations to be the star, so he will be the lead of the movie. Expected to be the next Star Wars film to go into production, potentially this fall. And it's planned to be a standalone film and won't be connected to the Skywalker saga. So I talked a little bit about this the other day on the showcast, but I wanted to see your guys' opinion of this. Like, what do you think about this? Is this the right direction? Do you love Ryan Gosling? Like, what do we think about this?
I mean, again, I'm very casual Star Wars, so like I'm not gonna be someone who's up in arms about anything. I guess it depends on what he's playing, like what kind of movie it is.
That's exactly what I said. Yep.
I don't know. I love Ryan Gosling. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he's great. but I do think he brings a very specific kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say he can't do other things, because again, like, you know, La La Land versus Barbie versus, you know, all these things, you know, like, he's a fantastic actor. But I don't know if I can see him as like a Jedi or something. Like
Exactly. That's you're reiterating exactly what I said. He reminds me more of like a Han Solo character than like a Luke Skywalker character.
Something like Andor-y kind of thing, where it's like, yeah. I'm open to it. Like, again, like, I think, like, I feel like Star Wars doesn't typically start off as like, oh, this big name actor has joined Star Wars. Right. You know, at least in the movies, it's like, oh, they're their characters. So I think it's interesting to bring like a movie star to the Star Wars world in current day. Will that bring in an audience? It's also tough because we don't know what this movie is, like, outside of like,
right,
you know, just the
we know the director. We know that we know the concept is not going to be Skywalker, but that's pretty much it. Right. That's pretty much all we know. Paigey, do you think this is going to be a enough for you for a Star Wars movie, or
Kenobi? I like that. Kenobi. That's funny.
I think I would go watch it because of Ryan Gosling in it. That's a very interesting thing. I agree with you. I don't think it should be a Jedi. I don't think I'd take him seriously. I just imagine Ken running around with a lightsaber, singing. I'm just much. Ken, or singing some Matchbox 20 or something like that. I don't think I could take him seriously. So I don't know what you do. I don't know if you go the bounty hunter role. I wouldn't mind if it's almost like even if they do like an Indiana Jones type thing, like looking for like some hidden, like he could just be like someone trying to take advantage. Like he could just be like a treasure hunter or something, like a Star Wars treasure hunter.
I'd be okay with that. That sounds like a fun movie to me.
So not necessarily like seeking a person, but seeking a treasure, and then it's like, and then it can be a bit Indiana Jonesy, but in space.
You know what? I'll be honest. I would love for them to start introducing things to Star Wars lore that isn't connected to anything we know.
No, well, they should just do simple elevator pitches, like it's this, but in the Star Wars universe.
Right? Yeah. No. Exactly. I want to see them take some chances, because all we see is complaining about what you can do with the Force, what you can do with the lightsaber, what this person did, what that person did. I think this movie needs to be completely 100% separated from all of that, and it needs to introduce some new ideas to Star Wars that can't be argued about on the internet. That's what I think.
I think what Star Wars is very crucially needing right now, and I bet they'll be fine once they get back into like the theaters, but they need to introduce the next generation of Star Wars audience, because I think a lot of your Star Wars audience is getting a little bit older or losing interest, and I think you need to bring in the people who kind of maybe lost a little interest with, you know, this era of TV shows, and also reintroduce people to Star Wars. Or if you don't, it's going to die within the next 20-25 years.
No, it'll be sooner than that. It'll be the next 5 or 10 years.
I was gonna say, sure. I feel like the people who are complaining about it have driven that stake so far into the heart of like the fandom that I feel like if we want to see, and Darren, this continues with what you were just saying and what we already talked about a little bit, but I think we need a fresh perspective on Star Wars that does not connect to anything at all. I don't want to see a Luke Skywalker solo. I don't want to see any Yoda stuff. I don't want to see any Mandalorian stuff. I just want a fresh, separate storyline that introduces some new concepts and ideas within Star Wars. And I'm sold on it. That's all. Yeah. That's all it would take for me to get excited about another Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think Skeleton Crew is the perfect example of what I want from Star Wars in the future, because I think that just pitched everything you just said. This new story that introduces a new audience with a fun story that really inspires what Star Wars is all about. I had
so much fun with Skeleton Crew. It was such a fun series.
Blast, yeah.
So I thought this was funny. Ryan is clearly a diversity hire. DEI bad, DEI bad. I know this. Well, we don't know if he's going to be a straight guy. He's definitely going to be white.
He could be. They could do it like a black guy who bleached his skin.
No, we're not even going to go down that route.
Wears a wig.
Darren, you're muted. You're muted. Oh.
That
He
might
might not be
good.
white. He could be blue. He could be pink.
That's
he
right.
could
I was just gonna say
yellow.
I had to correct myself there. Yeah.
Or he could be
I-
very. They could do something where he's like very racially
I
ambiguous.
actually think that because of who he is and his star power, they're going to keep him as normal looking as possible. He'll be the most.
What do you,
normal
hold
guy
on.
in
What do you
the
mean by
movie.
normal looking, Eric? Hold on. What do you mean by normal looking?
Like they're not going to put horns on his head or anything like that.
Oh,
They're gonna keep him
okay.
just
Nice
as Ryan
save.
Gosling.
Nice save, Eric.
But
Nice
I did
save.
say this kind of makes. If I were you, if I were one of the people that wanted to see Ryan Gosling as Black Panther, it's time to cry because now he's going to be in Star Wars. So
I'm
think
still
that
waiting for
this
him to
is,
play Obama. That's my
yeah,
favorite
that's
one.
the other one, the Obama and the Black Panther. I called him like Caucasian Cat. Like I said, if he's not going to be Black Panther, he could be Caucasian Cat. I didn't see that. He just popped in my head. I was like, that's pretty funny. Mace Windu origin. Yeah, that's totally what it is. The Mace Windu origin story. All right, so let's go one of our topics in the title, which is the budget for this. We finally got this. Now, Darren, you mentioned this on the last stream that we hadn't actually seen anything official. Now, this comes through all of the main channels like Deadline, Hollywood Reporter. So this is the budget that has been released by the studio. And people are big mad about this. And it's so funny to me because that budget of like, oh, it's 400 million. Because we had people saying that in the last stream.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. I knew it was a lot less than that. I didn't know how much it was. But to come in under 200 million is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So the budget of the movie is 180 million, not including advertising. So, which means it'll probably be, if I were ballparking a number based on what we know, that would put it somewhere between 200 and 275 million with advertising. That's much, much lower than what it was before. And we don't know how much tax rebates and cuts are going to have off of the budget, depending on what they did in filming and stuff like that. So if it opens with 95 million, that is a really good number for a movie that costs 180 million to make.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this?
No. This is like exactly what I was hoping for. Like when we saw those 400 million numbers like last year, that was like freak out mode to me because I was like, they cannot make that back. Like I don't think they can make that back plus have a sizable return. And I think Captain America is a franchise that should stay around that 200 million, if not under, right? He is, around that kind of style. This should be a bit smaller. I think they're good. Like, I think this to me cements their success to a certain regard. Like, obviously it's a sequel to Captain America, one of Marvel's biggest franchises. You have the Hulk. Anthony Mackie has gained, and I've talked about this over and over, but he's gained sort of an audience to himself as Sam, stuff like that. I think as long as the word of mouth is decent, they're good. I think they're going to make this back first couple weekends. I think they're going to be okay.
I'm much more confident now than I was before, because even if the movie underperforms, I don't think it's going to underperform to like the level of the Marvels. I don't see that happening. I think this movie alone, based on just the hype we're going into, I think this is really good for me. But the best part about this is I'm seeing a lot of cope from people that want this movie to fail. I'm seeing a lot of people come out and say, this is a lie, it's not true, blah, blah, blah. Why would they have a reason to lie? What would be their reason for, have they ever lied about a budget before? No, they've been very honest about their budgets with their movies. Again, we only know what official sources tell us because all the other stuff is hearsay. We've talked about this before. Paigey, what are your estimates on the movie being a success now that we see this budget? What do you think about this?
Well, firstly, I don't think this is actually the budget, but I don't think it's 400 million. That's ridiculous. Because I mean, Justice League, they had to refilm. They've refilmed about 40% of what was in the final thing. Like 40% of that final movie is like stuff they had to refilm. And that was 300 million. Yeah. And I highly, highly doubt the reshoots that they did were anywhere as extensive as Justice League. But I don't think this probably includes some of the reshoots, but I think the reshoots would have only been...
I don't think the reshoots would have put it over 200 million.
20, 30 million, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say, I would say my ballpark would be 200 even.
So
maybe
it probably
puts
it up just north, or maybe straight on 200 million. So, like, I mean, in comparison to this, not much at all. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing isn't necessarily the budget to me, because I think, obviously, but it was never that 400 million bullshit. You just wanted to perform good. And this is a pretty good opening, 95 million domestic.
Yeah,
I mean that's very. If they got
all it needs is 2 weekends close to that number, and it's made its production budget back at that point. So
and Marvel usually. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
And Marvel usually has legs. Like they're normally in theaters a month, 2 months, depending on how big the movie. 3-4 months if it's one of their big things. So they'll probably go through all of March. So you have all of February, all of March, probably close to when Thunderbolts comes out, right? So I think they're good. I again, like, especially if the word of mouth is good, I think they're in really good shape. Like if I think the only thing that could kind of come into shape if this comes out and everyone's like, this is awful. This is a horrible movie.
I honestly don't believe it's going to be awful. I don't think it's going to be a bad movie. You know what I mean? I'm looking now, like, what it's up against. So this comes out on the 14th. So we have Last Breath, which is like a shark movie that comes out on the 28th of February. We got the Bridget Jones Mad About the Boy film that comes out on the 13th, which that movie will pull in people because it is a Valentine's movie, but I don't think it's in the same market as Captain America. Right. Kind of Pregnant, an Amy Schumer movie, comes out on the 5th of February, but that's a Netflix movie. The Witcher Sirens of the Deep is also a Netflix movie. So you're right, Darren, there's nothing to, like, if this movie is going to fail, it's not going to be because of competition. It will fail because of how bad the movie is.
I know there's Paddington's that weekend too, right? I think that's the only thing.
Let's see.
But I will say they've had awful marketing. I have not seen trailers for that really anywhere outside of the cinema. So I don't know. I think Captain America will probably beat Paddington. Like,
Well, I think Paddington comes out isn't it out already?
Is it out? Is it really?
It says here Paddington in Peru is scheduled to release in the United States on January 17th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it came out in November of last year in the UK. So
yeah, it's been out for a while for other people.
Yeah, so I don't see anything being a direct competitor to this movie. So I feel like if this movie underperforms, it's on the merits of the movie. I did see someone say here that it makes sense for them to lie. I don't see why. I don't. Are you talking about because of the people on YouTube? They don't care about the guys on YouTube talking about their budgets.
He said it makes no sense.
Oh, okay, got it. Right.
For them to lie. Yeah.
Wait, no, somebody else made the comment. Wait, where's it at? So yes, that's true. It makes no sense to them to lie. But I do want to follow that up with the people that think they're lying about it. I still stand by the statement. I don't think they care about the guys on YouTube lying about their budget. I think if people on YouTube are complaining about something that matters to Marvel and Disney, I think it's going to be something other than that.
I heard that Feige watches Nerdrotic as like a call for caution.
Yeah.
He's like, what should I not do with the MCU? So he makes sure to watch channels like that.
Yeah, always keeping up with them. I think they would be very happy if this movie performs as well as Winter Soldier. I think that's kind of what they're hoping for. Trying to see the exact number for the sales for the Winter Soldier. So it was 714 million. I think they would be very, very happy if this movie gets around 700 million. Of course they want more than that, but I feel like that number they'd be ecstatic for.
To be fair, you remember that was like around, like, was it like just after Age of Ultron and stuff like that? You got to also put things into context. Like, I think that's almost a bit unfair to this movie.
Right.
Brave New World, whatever it's called. What's it called?
I'm
Brave New World.
Yeah. So if I'm being realistic here, unless this movie is shit, that's what I'm going to hang this on. And I don't think it's going to be. So my projection is based on the fact that I think the movie will be good or better. I think this movie goes north of 500 million at the end of its run, close to maybe 700 million. I think if it gets higher than that, that would be absolutely bonkers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment, or you guys think I'm undershooting for the sales on this?
Shilling out.
How's that shilling? That's a low number.
I'm joking, Eric. Calm down. He's so sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 700's probably a little short of 700's fair, unless something insane happens. Unless we get like a Deadpool and everyone.
I think the biggest thing for that type of thing is the international. Like, that's the look at Wicked. Wicked, look how massive Wicked did domestically, and then the international market let it down. Twisters almost flopped because no one went and saw it internationally, but it did. Which is
crazy because it's a good movie. I watched it. I thought it was a good movie. So
Wicked or Twisters?
Twisters. I like Wicked, but Twisters. I was talking about.
Do they have Twisters at KFC in America?
Yeah, they do actually. I don't
They
know if they're
do?
called
Okay.
twisters. I think they're cinnamon twist. I think is what they're called.
No.
The-
Twisters here are like wraps. They're like chicken wraps.
Oh well, yes, they have those. They don't call them twisters though.
Yeah, over here we call them
So-
twisters. They're very
All
good.
right, so let's move on to another Marvel topic, and this is the one that we talked about briefly, Darren. But you might have more news on this. But this is what I saw from our friend Daniel RPK about
Yeah,
Armor
that's
Wars.
it.
Okay, the film is on hold. No shit. It will likely release after Secret Wars. Okay, fair, I guess. I have some theories about what that means for the movie, though. If it's going to come out of Secret Wars, the story will be entirely different from the original pitch. The script is being rewritten due to the backlash of Secret Invasion. So, based on that, unfortunately, I think this might be the end of our buddy Rhodey being the lead of this series.
Do you think it'll just be Iron Man 4 instead?
I don't even know at this point because let's be
Let's
clear.
be honest.
Yeah.
The two people that were looking forward to this are very distraught, Eric.
Well,
They
I think it's just sad because I believe Rhodey, if Armor Wars would have came out when it was supposed to, with Rhodey in it, without the bullshit that happened in Secret Invasion,
Yeah.
I think it would have been a decent series. They switched it over to a movie. I think the movie might have still been fine. I believe everything that's going to come out that's connected to Secret Invasion is going to be tainted by Secret Invasion because that was such a poorly done
Yeah.
TV series.
You want to hear my hot take?
Go ahead.
Secret Invasion made me more excited for the show because
Okay.
that's the one aspect of the show I actually really liked. I
Okay.
actually really liked and I know it's like devastating. It sucks for him as a character, but I actually think it was one of the more interesting things you could have done with Rhodey within the last couple years. I really like this idea of like a crisis movie for Rhodey. This idea that like, oh, he has missed like the last 5-8 years of his life.
Right.
What does he miss? He is a man that's grieving, and now he has to come back in the picture and try to pick up the pieces of what's been happening since his friend has died and piecing the pictures of what he's missed. I think that's a fascinating movie. I think that's like one of the most I think it can be one of the MCU's deepest.
I agree
plots.
with you, but I think they're uncommitted to that for a couple of reasons. One of them is they feel like the reaction from the fans about Rhodey basically being a different person during some of the most pivotal moments of his life pissed a lot of people off. And I think their knee-jerk reaction is they don't want to do that to a character that most people loved. I don't think a lot of people disliked Rhodey. The other thing is I think that they now want the series to rebuild what has happened to the Iron Man legacy, which is them dropping the ball in several ways. Like, I think Ironheart was a ball drop, not because I don't like Ironheart, but the delay on that has been ridiculous. And I think that's another issue is they waited too long with the Ironheart series. This being delayed also was a problem with that. They're bringing, Tony Stark back as a version of Doctor Doom, or maybe not Tony Stark, maybe another person altogether. Who knows what that's going to look like. And I think the fact that it's coming out after Secret Wars tells us that anything that this was ever going to be is now gone. Right. So whatever it was that this originally was supposed to cover, it could be anything now because we don't know what the landscape is going to look like after Secret Wars. Like, it could be a young Tony Stark series. It could be Tony Stark, a younger Tony Stark from another timeline during Secret Wars that made it back to the main continuity, and he's the new Tony Stark. That's what it could be. We could see Rhodey gone completely. His character could get erased during Secret Wars. We have no idea.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah. And you know what? It is kind of disappointing because, like, I've spoken about this. I don't love the whole Downey Doom thing, whatever. But if you are like looking at the bright sides of that, I think Armor Wars could have been a fascinating setup for that movie. Like this, like the whole plot being like, oh, okay, someone's messing with Tony Stark's armors. Something's happened in between. That can either be set up for like mentally his character being like, okay, this movie being about him mourning over Tony Stark. Holy shit, there's a guy with his face like 3 months later. Right. Or you could literally have Doom be the villain of that movie if you wanted it to be. Like who else would steal his suits than someone with his exact face? Like you could play into that if you wanted to. Again, I still don't love the whole Downey thing, but I think Rhodey should be one of, if not the main characters in Doomsday, in my opinion. He has the most connection out of all the Avengers.
But you know what sucks, Darren, now that you brought this to my attention, I didn't even think about this. chances are we're going to go into Doomsday with Rhodey never dealing with the ramifications of what happened during Secret Invasion.
Yeah. Do you think they'll make it non-canon? Do you think that they will like say, "Oh, that was another Earth. That was over there"?
I don't think so, because we have some possible news about that show that popped up. I don't know if it's true or not. But if it's true, it tells me that they're not going to go that direction. I think they actually have plans for the ramifications of Secret Invasion, but I don't think the Rhodey stuff. So here's my take on all of this. And Harrison, I'm going to read your comment here after this, but I feel like they had a clear vision of what this was going to be before all the Kang drama happened. I think the Kang drama changed the landscape so much that some of the projects suffered. I think this was one of the biggest, casualties of what happened with the thing outside of Kang being taken out of the equation. Like this project was one of the biggest casualties of that, because I believe that you're right. It's very likely that Rhodey would have shown the ramifications of everything that happened in Secret Invasion in the series, like dealing with the day-to-day and catching up on everything and reconnecting with people. But I think that alone took away from what the show was supposed to be. And I think Kang being gone also did that. I'm going to read Harrison's comment here because I think this is interesting. There's a fascinating story to be told with him trying to keep Stark Tech out of the wrong hands, a similar taking up the mantle sort of like Sam's cap. Yes. And I think that would have worked. And that would have been a very straightforward story without Secret Invasion. I think Secret Invasion changes that entire story because Rhodey has to deal with everything that happened during that stint of him being locked away before you can ever even get to him taking on whatever's going on with Stark. So I think it's just a big mess now because of everything that's happened. So that's just my take on it. Anyway, any other thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, no, I mean, like after the whole Doom thing was like announced, I had said, okay, this is either going to be the most important project to Doomsday or it's going to get canceled. And I honestly think it's the latter. I really think it's going to be. I think, like you said, I think the version of Armor Wars we were going to get is gone. We may still get a Rhodey themed project at some point, but I almost think that time is like, especially like it not happening before you bring back Downey is insane. Like I kind of feel like you kind of lost the sauce at that point. I also wanted to bring up, I know you don't like going into comments, but can you scroll down to either the first or second comment? Because there was one of the comments that I thought was incredibly... Actually, let me send you the link to it. Let me send you the link to the exact comment. You don't have to... because I did think it was a kind of an interesting conversation starter that I've seen going around within the last couple weeks or so. I sent you the link to like his direct comment right under it, so you don't have to...
All right. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, we can pull this up. Hold on.
So yeah, like I've seen this particular thing said within the last couple months, and I think people are very much misreading what the Mutant Saga is going to be. Like I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, the Mutant Saga is just going to be the X-Men only," and that I honestly don't know where that's coming from. Because the Infinity Saga was never just about the Infinity Stones.
Right.
The Multiverse Saga was never just multiverse projects. And I don't think the Mutant Saga will only be X-Men mutant projects.
No, I don't think so either.
I think there's just like every other phase, there will be a focus on the mutants, but we're also going to get Shang-Chi's and Spider-Man's and Captain America's and Fantastic Four's.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that the Mutant Saga is going to be called the Mutant Saga because whatever the big event is going to lead up to is going to include something with the mutants. But I think it's more going to be like maybe X-Men versus Avengers or something like that. I do believe that is something that's in the cards eventually, because you have to remember they get to tell a lot of these stories in the MCU that were never told before because the X-Men didn't exist. So I do believe that that's what they're hinting to with the Mutant Saga. I don't think it's going to be like we're only going to cover X-Men characters. I don't think I think that's ridiculous. That like nobody would go for that.
That gets so boring so fast if you had like 5 X-Men projects a year. Like like no one would want that.
So I want to share this here. I don't know. Have you watched this yet? Okay. Is there anything in this worth watching to potentially get hit by YouTube or no?
Music wise, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of new footage in here that
Okay.
we didn't get
All
the
right.
first time.
So before we start this, I do want to pull up Cody's comment, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. By the way, we are halfway to the goal. We have an hour left, so 5 more super chats at blue or higher, which I think is pretty much all the tiers. And you guys get to select one of the options from the poll. Get the goal, hit the goal, get the poll. That's it.
Sus.
Yeah. So Cody with the $5 super chat here says, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man reactions out and it's all positive. Yeah, I haven't seen any negative stuff about this other than the typical people who are just complaining about the show existing, which I don't think that's a fair criticism. Like, if you've watched it and you don't like it, okay, fair enough. But if you're just criticizing it because it exists, then fucking get fucked. You know, that's how I feel about it. All right, so we're going to watch this. If this gets removed, because I don't know if these clips will get removed, then
maybe just watch it in a small box. Maybe don't make it full screen.
Okay, we'll see if that works. Anyway, so it's only a minute and
Hold
44.
on, before we start that.
Mhm.
Why is eggs trending?
Because of
Such
the
a
bird
random-
flu.
A random
bird
thing to be
flu.
trending. Eggs.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's a couple things, but they're political. We're not going to talk about them. So let's get to the.
Oh, okay. I know what it is about now. I thought, okay,
That's
that
funny.
Yeah,
I should have read that politics thing above it. Just realized that.
Yeah.
I just saw the bold eggs.
All right, here we go.
Spider-Man.
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 Everyone knows Spider-Man.
That's me. By the way, I'm Spider-Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's the first Spider-Man show from Marvel Studios, and we're so invested towards making this the standout Spider-Man show.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my!
The training wheels are
All right, we're getting to see more of the art now, and I guess they're closer to it being done. Like this would have been in some of the post-production stuff. What do we feel about it? Because I don't mind it 100%, but I also didn't mind What If, which I know a lot of people didn't like that art as well.
I think it depends when you're watching it. Full screen, on your TV. Does it hurt your eyes? Does it flow well? I think you have to wait till you're watching a full episode and seeing that. Like,
Jim says, did someone say politics? No, Jim, we did not. Nobody said that.
Here's the thing about the style that I think is very interesting. Is I think depending on who you ask, they're going to have a different take. Because I do think it is an artistic direction, right? It looked like this because they're inspired by the comics, and they even mentioned that in this video, where it's clearly like, I can respect this art style because they're trying to do something new and different that we really haven't seen before. I also think it looks kind of ugly, so I have to wait to see.
So you don't like it? You're not.
I
You're
don't
not vibing
like
with
it
this?
yet,
Okay.
but I'm excited to be convinced otherwise because I didn't
All
like
right.
how X-Men '97 looked either at first, and then I
That looks
saw it, I was
beautiful,
like,
though.
oh,
That's a beautiful art style.
it looks
so,
gorgeous
yeah,
now that
yeah.
I got used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
off, so to speak.
One era that this series is going to explore is the 60s aesthetic that Steve Ditko put on the page so well.
It's a comic book come to life.
Okay. All right.
The animation is so cool to me.
I actually think that what's going to happen is you're going to see, and I've already started to see it a little bit, that the paused frames of the cartoon look like a page of a comic book.
They do.
But in motion, it doesn't necessarily translate as well. I think that's kind of the issue that people are having with it.
It looks like a motion comic. It looks
Yeah.
like a motion comic with all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah.
I really love the style of it.
Thanks. It's so of the now, but also vintage.
It's bringing a lot of things to the table that those other Spider-Man shows may not have been able to do.
Oh, this
Oh,
is going to be
yes.
awesome. It's
This
still
track.
the Spider-Man that you know and love. This is the first day of the rest of your life. You have Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Scorpion,
Oh, wow.
Doc Ock.
I actually
Yeah,
love those
it's
designs.
pretty cool.
Daredevil's design is really cool.
We're going to
I
have
like
different takes on classic characters.
You got a name, hero?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm Peter Parker. How about you?
Nice to meet you, Pete. I'm Nico Minoru.
Hey, Pearl. Hey, Lonnie.
Feel free to take a few notes on your way out.
I just want to mention this. It's going to be really weird seeing Nico and Peter as friends when they were younger, because clearly in the main continuity, they didn't really interact that way. So I wonder what her role is going to be in the series, like how she's going to participate. Because we know like her storyline from the Runaways and her connection with her family and stuff. I wonder if that's going to be a part of the series or if she's a completely different version of Nico.
Do you think this could and this is just my like brain working like it does, but it's like, do you think there's any way this is their way of like soft reintroducing the Runaways in any way, shape, or form, where it's like, here's a character from that show, reintroduce it to the audience, and then it's easier to pitch it off to something else?
You know, I don't totally know, because I feel like the Runaways as their own separate little pocket series made the most sense, because even though I know they exist in the Marvel continuity and they've crossed over with characters, I feel like their storyline is almost a separate thing altogether from like what Marvel is. I wouldn't mind them, but I feel like the Runaways as the story that we know from the comics would be really hard to translate outside of what they did with the Hulu TV show. But we'll see. Right. You might be right.
Outfit.
And I'm here because come on, Spidey. It's really fun and exciting. And action-packed.
We're doing something a little different.
Expect the unexpected.
With my
I
help.
was gonna say, is that meant to be J. Jonah Jameson or Thunderbolt Ross? Because it looks like Sam. No, it looks like Sam Elliott. And he was the Thunderbolt.
But I actually think this might have been in production before anything happened. So it's
no, but he looks like Sam Elliott is like Thunderbolt Ross from the
Spidey. It's really
Eric
fun
Bana
and exciting and action-packed.
I'm trying to find the picture.
We're doing something
Right there.
It looks like Sam Elliott.
There's an Oscorp computer, so maybe it kind of looks like Ross to me. It looks like
but it doesn't look like what was his name? Something Hurt, the guy that died that played Ross, whatever his name was.
Yeah,
it looks like Sam Elliott.
William Hurt, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, William Hurt. It doesn't look like him. It looks like Sam Elliott. Random.
Maybe it is Jameson. Maybe it's like an older take on Jameson.
Maybe.
a little different.
Expect the unexpected.
With my help, we'll achieve greatness.
I don't know. I'm not super hyped. Like, this isn't in my top 5, things that I'm looking forward to this year. But I do feel like we've been eating really good when it comes to animation. So I'm looking forward to it, but it's not, it needs to do something really big to make me go, yes, this is one of the best things ever, or whatever. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think I'll enjoy it, but we'll see how it lands for me in terms of projects. Paige, you're not going to watch it most likely, right?
Eric, you're a genius.
Yeah, I figured that. All right, let's
it depends. Like, I've been just watching old shows at the moment. I haven't been watching anything new really. So
yeah,
I don't know, maybe.
All right, we're gonna do a quick run through of possible Twitter shit. Here we go. Chris Evans will become Captain Hydra in the MCU. I hope not.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it. I don't like this idea of taking all the characters that people love and turning them into evil characters.
And let's be honest, we can look at that thing in the brackets and go, okay, it's probably a lot of ass.
My time to shine. Darren,
as soon as that My Time to Show started promoting cryptocurrency and like gambling, like sports gambling, like hack pages and stuff, I was like, okay, well, no more.
Yeah. Darren, any interest in a Captain Hydra storyline?
I mean, I wouldn't say interest. I wouldn't be shocked though either. I've said a while ago, like I wouldn't be completely shocked that if they try to do it's an evil team of Avengers. So it's like Hydra, Cap, Doom, Iron Man, blah blah blah, whatever these evil variants, and that's how you get all of them in there. I don't really want that. But I could see them pulling like a Crisis on Earth X kind of thing, where it's like, it's the evil counterparts of the people that we know.
I just don't know if that's what, like, when people say they wanted these actors back, I don't think that's what they had in mind. I don't think this is what people wanted. I don't know. It's an interesting storyline. I don't know if I'd be here for it. We'll wait and see.
And they kind of already did it. They had this whole thing where he goes like Hail Hydra in Endgame, which is to kind of play homage to that whole thing.
Yeah. Jeffrey Wright will appear as Uatu the Watcher in Fantastic Four Footsteps. Divinity Seeker 1 dropping the hot scoops. Whether this is true or not, I don't really mind. I think the Watcher stuff in What If was great. I don't necessarily know if I need it in the live action stuff, but I like Jeffrey, so
I think this is
really.
Are they going to make his head like just big, or is he just gonna shave his beard? Or
it'll be CGI 100%.
How do you know?
Because they use CGI Watchers already in the MCU.
When?
At the end of Thor, I think there was a post-credit scene with the Watchers. You guys don't remember that?
Was there?
No, maybe bring it up
Hold
on stream. I can't
All right,
remember.
hold on.
I don't know if there was. Unless I'm forgetting something.
Were they Gremlins or something?
I
No, it
think
was
the
Watch-
only 3 places we've seen it was What If, I Am Groot's, and X-Men.
Are you thinking of
X7.
Green Lantern, Eric?
No. I'm sure the chat's already said this.
By the way, did you see that apparent leak story for Lands?
Oh, was it the Stan Lee thing? Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
but
about?
this shows the Watchers. Yeah, but it shows the Watchers here.
Oh.
That wasn't Thor, though, was it? Guardians 2, he said.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I knew it was an end credit scene, but here's.
I didn't know that was a watch. Oh.
And there's CGI. Let me blow this up a little bit. So there we go.
Yeah, they look
Yeah.
fucked up.
Well, I mean, that's what it'll be though. If they use it, they'll probably look like this.
Jelly baby.
Forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
will
would
say
we-
I do think this is true. I actually would be shocked if they start Fantastic Four like a what if story where they kind of intro it in because this is the first, I guess, outside of Deadpool, which that is too, but that's a little different because it's a sequel, the first MCU movie that doesn't take place on the sacred timeline, right outside of Deadpool. So I would not be shocked to introduce the audience to be like, this is a separate Earth if they do it like a narration from him, or at the end, if my theory is right with how they're going to end the movie with their Earth being destroyed and them heading to the sacred timeline, what if or the Watcher wouldn't be a terrible way to do that. Like he sees their Earth get destroyed and sees them leaving the Earth or whatever.
Yeah. But Hollywood loves to subvert expectations things. That's exactly what they do. I think you were talking about the Hydra cap, I think is when that comment came up. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, look, I don't necessarily, I'm not against stuff like that. I think that if they do that, my theory would be if they decide to do that, they would turn that cap into Cap again. So we'd end up with the Hydra cap as Captain America back in the MCU if they do that. And I don't necessarily know if I want that or not. Because essentially he would be like a double agent. Like going to Hydra, then coming back to Cap again. And then it's like dealing with Bucky all over again. I don't want them to do that. I feel like that would be the wrong way to do that, honestly.
Sorry,
Serenity, no, I'm the one that said, I literally was the one that said that there's a post-credit scene.
Serenity, abuse Eric in the chat, please. Call him a fake Marvel fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Grifter. MCU grifter.
All right. So Benedict Cumberbatch has revealed that Doctor Strange will be absent from
Wait, say that again.
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch.
Oh, well, that's
like
the
the bad. You call it the bad butch? The bad butch?
Yeah, it's like the cicada stuff.
No, it's not that. It's you just mispronouncing it.
No. From Avengers Doomsday Doom not aligning with the story. This is from Variety, so this is real.
Yes.
This is a real comment. So
according to Ray Fisher, he might put that into question. He's denied Variety.
Let me tell you, this actually makes sense to me. Let me tell you why. I think Avengers Doomsday is going to be all of the incursion stuff leading up to Battleworld. And Doctor Strange could be in that, but he doesn't have to be in it. It doesn't make a ton of sense because I think we're going to get the next Doctor Strange movie in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So that's where he's going to come into play with the incursion stuff. I think that's going to happen. That's how it's going to happen. Because I believe Doctor Strange is not even going to be in our plane of existence for most of that movie. I think he's going to be dealing with Dormammu and all of that. And then he's going to come back to a reality that is not his own. And that's going to lead into the Secret Wars stuff, which is where Doctor Strange works for Doom, controlling Battleworld. So it makes sense to me that he's not going to be in Doomsday. But I know a lot of people are saying they want him to be in it. I don't think it's necessary for him to be in it, though.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked, I think, just in terms of, the lineup. Because, I just always assumed, the main three would be Sam, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel. I just had that headcanon for so long that, when this came out, I was like, oh my gosh, okay. That changes in my head a lot of the expectations and stuff like that. I'm not completely angry about it, because I don't know if you saw the other thing that come out. He had kind of teased Doctor Strange 3. and I had kind of went back and like I was looking at like the schedule for 2026, and I was like, if that November 6th date is still lined up, I think it has to be Doctor Strange at this point. Like, I think Doctor Strange 3 is the only thing that makes a lot of sense. It's either that or nothing.
It's also the one movie where if you want to do like play with the timeline a little bit, it's the one that would be easiest to do that. Because of the stuff that Doctor Strange has dealt with already in his movies. Harrison says, I think Doctor Strange 3 will be happening this. Yeah, that's essentially what I mean. Like, I feel like whatever he's dealing with is happening side by side with that, and he will not be physically on Earth, which means that when all the incursion stuff happens and he returns, he's like literally on Battleworld.
Do you think they're going to remove him? Do you think we'll make a music reference here, Eric? I know you'll love this one. Do you think they'll make him third eye blind? Get rid of that fucking third eye?
I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that didn't work that's going to get erased during Doomsday into Secret Wars. I think we're going to see a lot of things change. And some people are not going to be happy with it. I realize there's going to be things that I'm probably not
going to keep Charlize Theron and do something with her in this movie?
Yeah, I think she will be in this movie.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Well, she's probably on a contract.
She'll be there as Clea, but she won't. I don't think she's going to stick around. I think she'll only be in this movie. So, here's another one. Benedict Wong is confirmed to star in Strange Academy. I feel like they just watched our stream and said exactly what I said, which is if Benedict is going to be in, it's going to be a small role. So,
see, I still think there's still time. They need to change this show's name to something Wong. It would just go so well.
I think I told you there's literally a drag queen with that name. So I don't know if they could do that legally. Maybe
something Wong.
Yeah, some team Wong.
Maybe that drag queen can be in the show. It can be a student.
Maybe possibly.
They're not going to announce. Like, this would not be a pre-Secret Wars announcement. They would wait until after Secret Wars to do anything like this because they don't have time. Like, at most, we're getting one more announcement. Like, again, I think people, like, again, all these accounts are like, this is announced and this is and this. I don't think the only other announcement I think we're going to get that would come out before Secret Wars would be that one spot, that one movie we don't know about. Everything else is going to be after. We don't have time. We simply do not have time.
I think South Texas Shark is on Paige's payroll. Edgy time. Will Eric do an Elon hand wave for a $2 super chat? I feel like Paige must have DM'd you that and was like, hey, why don't you ask him to do that on stream? Because that feels like something that Paige would ask me to do. So I feel like this is a psyop of some kind.
I can confirm I did not do that.
However,
he did super chat at Eric. So
yeah. He said will. He didn't say you have to do it. He said will.
Well, yeah, he didn't include the question.
The answer to that is no. I will not do an Elon Musk hand wave. I'm not trying to get screenshots of me to get canceled. But I appreciate your $2 super chat. No cancellation happening there. All right. Let's see. What else do we have?
Hold on.
Yeah.
No, do not get rid of this. What the hell is trending?
We don't
Fat,
look at the
juicy,
trending tab.
and wet.
Right, and we've already established that clicking on that is a bad idea, so we'll never know. We'll never know. It's in the music category. We'll never, ever know.
Yes, we had eggs. Now we have fat, juicy, and wet.
All right, this one is Annihilus will reportedly appear in multiple MCU projects. He'll make his debut in the Nova series. I feel like this is a no-brainer. No offense, Daniel, but if he is going to be in Nova, then I think he's going to continue.
What is his character?
Annihilus is like an alternate dimension being that uses like it's hard to explain because he's had a lot of things over the years he's done. He's primarily though a Fantastic Four villain, so I assume they're going to be using him in Fantastic Four, not necessarily as like a Thanos thing, but just a character that can extend beyond.
It's that new Bruno Mars song. I saw that advertised. Everyone was questioning. Wait, Lady Gaga's in it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's Sexy Red. I knew about that. The Sexy Red. I didn't know about Lady Gaga, though.
You see the Sexy Red Martin Luther King drama?
Yeah, but she apologized for it, so it's good. It's fine. It's fine.
Wait, is Sexy Red a top request at the club, Eric?
Yes, a lot.
What's that song?
We're not going to talk about any of her songs.
No, you don't have to sing it. Just what's the main song?
It doesn't matter. The titles are bad. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, the titles are bad.
They lead into like dirty stuff. Like all of them sound like they're
I
dirty.
heard one of his songs before, and I can't remember what it is at the top of my head.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. So the Nova series, they
Is
pitched.
it the one that goes, "I'm out here in Miami"? Is that one?
There's a lot of ones that say they're out here in Miami.
Okay, sorry, Eric.
Starship Pages. You like Starship Troopers? Was that a movie that you liked? The original Starship Troopers, or no?
Yeah, I used to watch it when I was younger. To be honest, I haven't watched it. Oh God, I can't remember the last time I saw that movie. Maybe it was on TV or something. I always remember because I think I must have seen it when I was like 9 years old. Irresponsible parenting, because there's boobies in that. I think there might be cock and balls as well. Anyway, there's at least nudity. There's boobs. I know there's boobs.
Here is.
Pound Town. That's it.
No,
Pound
we're
Town.
not.
No.
No.
Yeah,
We're
that's.
not
I've heard
doing
that song. Okay.
We're not doing that one.
Okay. Anyway, back to boobies.
Yeah, we're back to this. Yeah, go ahead.
I always thought that movie was scarier because I'd seen it when I was like 9 years old, and then I think I watched it when I was old, and I was like, "Oh, this is sort of just silly," but it's still got like some gnarly moments in there.
Yeah,
it's a movie that I think holds up fairly well, to be completely honest.
Well, because I think a lot of the effects were a mix
actually did
of
a lot
like
of
digital and
practical stuff
practical
as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're a mix of digital and practical. So the pitch follows Richard Rider, Starship Troopers like arc, where he's a cocky guy who falls for Namorita. He joins the Nova Corps, is assigned to a remote planet, which becomes the first target of the Annihilus Wave. The Annihilation Wave is portrayed like bugs and Starship Troopers, with a focus on how the Nova Corps uses propaganda to control the galaxy. Actually, that sounds really cool to me. I would be totally down. If this is the pitch for the show, sign me up. This sounds really good to me. I think this definitely it's different from anything we've ever had in the MCU, and that's essentially what I want these projects to be moving forward. If you're not going to give us old school MCU stuff, which is what they're promising Brave New World is going to be, I want it to be like different. So yeah, anyway.
Fat Juicy and Wet still trending at number one.
Oh my god.
Cool people's
so
eyes.
let's move over to this then, this cover here that says
Sex.
It's actually SFX magazine.
Yeah.
But it's
that has to be intentional. The way
it
they
is
block
100%. This is another look at the Daredevil suit, which by the way, I really like this cover. It's a lot of people don't like the nose guard. They want the nose guard to be gone.
It can't be Lord Voldemort. It just disappears. Like,
well, I guess.
I
don't really mind the nose guard.
Didn't they do that with that animated Spider-Man thing? And they just show him he had like no nose.
Yeah, there's no nose guard on the suit.
Yeah.
Normally.
You know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of that Smallville poster that came out all those years ago. That's good sex, bad Lex, or whatever.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, I know that everybody's looking forward to some of the other stuff. I would not be surprised if this ends up being the biggest Marvel thing of the year, the Daredevil TV series, in terms of people talking about it.
I think it depends how it's, because the thing is, people are, it's the biggest thing going for the show, but also going against the show. It's going to just instantly have that Netflix fandom that love the show, but also people are going to be comparing it to the Netflix show. And it's also like, 5-6 years removed or something like that from when that Netflix show ended. So it's got it going for it that it's carrying on from something that was beloved, but also people are going to compare it. And I feel like you get a lot of, and that is obviously like the branding, I guess, is a new show, though people just see it as season 4.
I mean, it's Daredevil season 4. Let's be clear, that's what it is. So
I had this. I don't know if it was on Twitter or somewhere else, but I was having this conversation where if they premiered like a 2-episode event in cinemas, I think people would show up. I think Eric's getting
PTSD at the moment from Inhumans.
Inhumans, no.
Like that event, but good, right? Like that whole situation, but with a good show,
right?
Because it's what it's like the most watched like Marvel trailer, like TV trailer of all time. There's clearly an audience for it. It's been trending for days. People are clearly excited for this. I think it would make money if they did like a 2-week whatever, like in cinemas or something.
No, I agree with that. I think that's a fair assessment. We have the episode titles. That's what I'm going to get into. These episode titles. Where's it at here? Daredevil
Sex episode 1.
So, by the way, we're at 7 out of 10 super chats for the tip goal. So 3 more super chats, and you guys will get to select one of the things in the poll for us to do. So feel free to go ahead and tip away. And I'll be reading your super chat in a second, Staggervore. It's a really good question, but I want to wait till we're done with these titles here. All right. So Daredevil Born Again, Season 1 episode titles. Here we go. Heaven's Half Hour, which I hope that doesn't mean it's going to be a half-hour episode. I'm thinking these are going to be regular length episodes.
Yeah.
With Interest. Okay. The Hollow of His Hand. You think that's in reference to Muse or Kingpin?
Yeah.
The hollow of his hand. It
Or
could be like
Bullseye.
a hollow bullet. Yeah, like a bullet. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Punisher. Yeah. It could be
Oh my God, there's so many possibilities for that one. Straight to Hell. That sounds to me like that might be the flashback to why he gave up being the Daredevil.
Yeah, or something
Hell's Kitchen.
referring to like meatloaf or something. I don't know.
maybe. Sic Semper Systema.
That's Latin.
Hold on, I'm gonna figure out what that means.
Yeah,
Wait.
do a Latin translation. The something system.
Let's see. Thus always to the system is what it roughly translates to.
Maybe it's like a court one. I mean, it's him when
Oh
he's
yeah, you know what? You're probably right.
probably doing some courthouse stuff.
Isle of Joy. No clue what that could be about.
That's a sex scene episode that we saw in the trailer.
Yeah,
It's the one from the cover of the magazine. The sex one. Excessive Force. That sounds like it's gonna be a fight episode, so something big is gonna go down there.
Kingpin.
Art for art's sake. That must be the wrap up to the Muse stuff. And Optics, which is probably going to be
A lawyer.
Yeah, I feel like that might relate to Kingpin. Maybe they'll wrap that up with Kingpin. I don't know. Do you think Kingpin will carry on beyond this season?
Yeah.
You think he'll be like a continuing character?
maybe he might not be a like main focus, but he's in the background in like season 2 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's the villain of the season. Like he might be a villain, right? He's gonna be like a background thing. But he like Muse is the villain, and what White Tiger is the villain, and I talked about this on my thing this week. I think this is very smart because he's already been the villain of 4 seasons of TV, like 2 seasons of Daredevil, Hawkeye, and Echo, right? You don't want to burn him out, right? You want him to feel larger than life, even though he's already been the villain of 4 seasons, 5 if you count season 2. So make him a villain throughout the show and save him as the big bad for the final season of the show. That's season 2, season 3, whatever. Because I think once you defeat him, like I don't know if you can defeat him a 3rd time because Matt's beat him out twice, right? So especially if you want him for Spider-Man and stuff like that, like you have to watch how much you do with him. So I think just having him be like a threat throughout the show, I think is best.
Yeah, so Lone Wolf says they already said Muse is going to be the main villain. Yeah, I suspect Muse will be, but I still feel like we're going to have other things happening in the show going on that would be considered like antagonistic. So anyway, all right, so before we move on, I want to bring up the super chat here from Staggervore. 499 super chat. Here's a question for us. Which of these films do you think will have better box office results this year? Superman or Fantastic Four First Steps? We've talked about this quite a bit, but we're getting closer and closer to those release dates. We're seeing more stuff. I think for me, Fantastic Four has the bigger potential to make more money because of where it's releasing. It's really going to come down to how that works out for them in terms of quality. We haven't really seen a trailer. Promotional stuff really hasn't started rolling out for Fantastic Four because I think they're really focused on Captain America at the moment.
Yeah.
We've seen quite a bit from Superman now in a short amount of time. It looks good. My fear is that Superman is in a bad release spot. I think it's in a bad position where it comes out. I know they want to hold on to it because of the date and stuff, but I just feel like it's in a bad spot. And it makes me worried about it because I think if Superman is going to make big money, it has to happen in the first 2 weekends.
Yeah, and you got to remember it has that massive threat the week after.
Yeah.
So
thoughts
Those little blue bastards.
What are y'all's thoughts on this one, on this question?
I mean, I feel like I've said this until I'm like blue in the face, not pun intended for Smurfs.
Papa Smurf related.
Yeah. I mean, I've said I think Superman really relies on word of mouth, which I think it will have. Fantastic Four, if that Downey thing comes true, then like, it depends. To be fair though, like I do think I've come around and saying I do think both will do well. I think they both do okay. Again, we don't know the budget for either of those movies yet. That, like, if Superman's some like 300 million, then yeah, it's cooked. But I think if it's like around the 200, I think it should be fine. I think what gave me a lot more confidence is the reception from that trailer. That trailer to me, for people who are excited, people who are not, people at least want to see what the heck that movie is, right? Like, It is an event movie. It is the start of an entire new thing. You have people who are been excited since day one. You also have people who hate Henry, or who love Henry Cavill and want his version. They're still going to see this movie because they want to go and tell us how bad it is, and all that kind of fun stuff. Like, it is a movie where I think like and on all the like most anticipated movies list I've heard, Superman is always at number 1, number 2, number 3, around that area. So I think Superman will be okay. I'm worried still, especially with like the longevity of it. Like, I think the first, second weekend they're gonna do great. It's after that is where I'm worried.
Paigey, any thoughts on this?
My big thing in regards to is just I want to see a proper trailer for Fantastic Four. So hopefully that comes in like what, a week and a half at the Super Bowl, whenever it is. Hopefully, I'd assume so, and that'll be the same for Jurassic World as well, because we've seen some photos from Jurassic World. We haven't seen a trailer,
right.
So, but I also think the big difference is between the two is that I think a pass mark for Superman at the box office is probably about $650. I think for Fantastic Four, it's probably like $850.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it has to be higher, but
and I think that also comes down to the fact that I think we're all fairly certain Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in this movie as Iron Man, and not Iron Man, Dr. Doom in some way, shape, or form, whether it's literally an end credit scene or just like a floating presence out there, whatever it is. But then this movie is also going to have Galactus, Silver Surfer. Like, it's got so much stuff that people know. I'm sure they're going to try and chuck that in, whether it is a Super Bowl thing that they show, or the full, because usually they show like, what is it, like a 30-second Super Bowl trailer. It's like full trailer online, and then you go watch the 2-minute trailer online. So I think they know what they're going to do. I think they're going to show that, but I really want to see what that looks like and how people respond to that.
So I would not be surprised if the reason why they revealed Robert Downey Jr. as Doom is because he's going to be in this movie. Because it feels like they revealed him so early as Dr. Doom that it was unnecessary. They could have waited until this year's Comic-Con. But they wanted to get people excited because they know Doom is connected to Fantastic Four. So it feels to me like they revealed him as Doom specifically because they knew he was going to be in this movie in some way or another. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me, personally. All right. As we move into our final topics of the night, this is the release slate here for Marvel. So we kind of see where everything is here. 3 movies, 3 TV shows, 3 animated shows, which is kind of a perfect storm, I guess. We've looked at these before, but this is a pretty packed year for Marvel. I feel like this is the complete opposite of last year, because last year we only had 4 things, I think, right? 4 things from Marvel? Was it 4?
Deadpool, Agatha, X-Men. What If?
What If and Echo? So we had 5.
Echo 5.
So we're going from 5 to 9 things. So
that's Dolly Parton would say. Uno
9
reverse.
to 5. Yeah. 9 to 5 reverse.
Uno reverse.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a pretty good year. We'll see what survives through all this. Basically, looking at this list, I think Thunderbolts will be okay. I don't think Thunderbolts is going to be a big money generator. I would be shocked if it did more than 600. Captain America, I'm still hoping for the best. Fantastic Four, I'm not really concerned about. I think Fantastic Four is going to do well regardless. I think Daredevil is going to be well. As long as it's violent and street level, I think it'll be fine. Ironheart, I'm a little worried about. I think the visual effects look good, but that show is still from the holdover era. Wonder Man, still, we barely know anything about Wonder Man. Eyes of Wakanda will probably be fine. It's a cartoon. Marvel Zombies is coming out Halloween. I think that'll do pretty good. I have high hopes for Spider-Man in the sense that I like what I see so far, but I don't know if it's going to break any ceilings. So I think like half of these projects are set up for success. The other half is kind of like, eh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We'll see.
I am like slightly concerned because I think 2025, not on if this will be good or not, but I think 2024 was a really good recovery year. I think it was a nice palate cleanser for people who were feeling very overwhelmed by Marvel. Was like, okay, this is nice. One movie, a couple shows, I can deal with that. What 9 projects is a lot. It's a lot for one year. It does hope that 2 of these aren't MCU canon, right? Spider-Man and zombies are what if stories, so those aren't exactly connected. Same with Eyes of Wanda, that is connected, but it's still kind of it's in an animated realm, so hopefully that won't affect it too much. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Also, a lot of these are sequels. Like a lot of these are like are people going to go into these? Are people going to be able to go into to these not knowing all these things? Like Captain America's a sequel, Thunderbolt's a sequel, Daredevil is a sequel to a 3-season show, Ironheart is basically a sequel, so that's going to be interesting too.
Maestro's pretty optimistic. I don't think any of these will be a massive failure.
No,
so
none of that.
I actually think that the lack of Marvel content last year on the big screen is going to help Marvel this year on the big screen. Personally,
it's been a long time since like it was July since the last Marvel movie, which I think will help Captain America. Like I think that's
and before that it was like November of 2023. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a minute. All right, so let's talk about the final big topic, I guess you could call it here, is the reveal of this Supergirl filming photo, whatever you want to call it, teaser. James Gunn says, thrilled to see cameras roll at Warner Brothers Studios, Lesden on Supergirl with Craig Gillespie at the helm, and the phenomenal Millie Alcock is our Kara Zor-El. Craig brings an incredible sensibility to the story, and Millie is every inch as unique Supergirl envisioned by Tom King, Bleak Evely, and Anna Noguera. So this is the picture. I guess they're on set here. Is this the space bar from the comic book? Is that what this is?
I'd assume so. I do wonder if they're combining the two like bar scenes, like the one that's in like the pub sort of thing at the beginning, and then the bar one a bit later. I think it's like literally the next issue or two after, or something like that. Yeah, because she's wearing a hoodie, but I don't know. Is this meant to be her what she's wearing, or is this just her?
It makes me so. A couple thoughts here based on the visuals of the comic book. This doesn't look like that. The visuals of the comic book are very like otherworldly in a sense that it looks. The art style is very broad and scoped out. This looks to me like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was going to say that looks exactly. It looks like a set from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's the vibe. I'm not against that, but it is very different.
I think it's also hard. I think they're trying to make it feel. They probably have to try and make it feel like something that's in like comparable to like the same. I know it's intergalactic and stuff, but you still got to have that same feel, I guess, that they want to go for. Also, like you never know. Maybe this is a weird bar that's on Earth. I don't know. We don't know exactly where this story starts, where it goes, and everything like that. You know.
Yeah, I was trying to see, like the where's it at here? I'm trying to find this picture.
Trying to find this picture.
Open image. So here's an example of the art style of the comic, in case people aren't familiar with it. It looks a little like otherworldly in even the way it's painted. It's like watercolory kind of stuff. That shot just doesn't give me that. So I feel like they are making some pretty big changes, unless you said like it's an Earthbound bar. But I don't know. And Paige, you look, there's the House of L.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I wish it was just some weird creative thing that Superman. But the thing is, this doesn't confirm it. Like you already saw on the Fortress of Solitude. So it is what it is. I think it is interesting that it has no yellow. It is literally just red and like a navy blue, maybe arguably black.
Yeah.
Because that comic that it's based off it has like a bit of a more edgier Supergirl, and that emblem makes me think edgy. Makes me think Eric on a Reddit thread. So I'm wondering and like they've cast Millie Alcock who can play that type of character as well. They go, it's not like, you know, Space Princess, if you want to put it, Supergirl. It's, you know, this type. So I do wonder, like
Jaybird, it's her new restaurant, the House of Grill. That's hilarious. I would eat there totally. House of Grill.
Wouldn't it be House of Grill or Grill dash ill?
Yeah, you're right.
I
still
right.
like the.
Thank you for admitting it.
You know, not all.
But you know what I want, Eric? I want a punk soundtrack.
So you're thinking like, so
I don't want to.
So the soundtrack from Creature Commandos isn't good. You don't want a ska soundtrack.
I don't want. What if that's that was like folk music?
Okay,
and like
polka music, right? So this polka music or whatever. What if that is the connecting tissue in all the movies?
It
like
is. Then
always gonna be.
I might make myself deaf or like just wear noise cancelling earphones when I go to the age movie. I can't stand it. Hey,
all right, so thumbs up, thumbs down on this look, or
I do want that in this movie though. I want a punk soundtrack, whether that is like 2000s like pop punk or like Ramones or something like that. Can you suggest a song, Eric, from your discography brain?
I mean, you mentioned, do you not like those bands? You just
I don't know. If you play some Ramones, I don't know if you want to play some Ramones or
no. I'm not a big fan of that
Blink-182.
era. Like Blink-182 is fine. I would probably, for this movie, depending on the vibe of the movie, I would love to hear like some Seattle rock, like some of that like grunge rock era. Like that would be really cool to me.
I have
to hear that.
To be honest, the Batman turned me off. Everyone to hear any more Nirvana and a.
Well, I mean, we could use one of your bands. We could use Silverchair. Silverchair could do the whole soundtrack for
Freak.
Supergirl. Yeah, we could do that.
That'd be a good one. That can be.
We don't need Chumbawamba or Limp Bizkit, so we don't. Need
the next thing was Rolling by Limp Bizkit. So that was my next suggestion.
All right, chat, thumbs up or thumbs down on this design we're seeing so far. I know it's just a teaser, but I want to know how everybody's feeling right now because they're actually on set. They're filming. I'm sure we're going to see photos come out.
I do. Do you think they're going to hold off on showing her until Comic-Con? Well, the movie comes out before Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But anything from this movie until Comic-Con.
That would be the perfect time to reveal it because she's now in the Superman movie we've heard. So
one of them said it.
Yeah, like if you tease her at the end of the movie or something, and then here's the suit, for everyone at Comic-Con to enjoy. Like that could be cool.
Yeah, so these are the confirmed characters. I'm sure that obviously we know like Lex Luthor and stuff like that, but these are the heroes. So Superman, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Supergirl, Metamorpho, and Crypto are the confirmed heroes. Yeah. So
by the way, so I mentioned this before. Did you see that apparent leaked plot sort of set up for Lanterns?
Well, I know you mentioned it, but tell me what it was that you saw so I can confirm whether.
So I saw it. I don't know if anyone else online saw it. I don't know if it's true because I'm like, surely this script doesn't leak, like the pilot or the first episode script.
Right.
But apparently a Green Lantern dies at the beginning, and that's the murder mystery that sets up and connects everything and leads to Jon Stewart coming back to a certain area and then running into Hal Jordan. But apparently the Green Lantern that dies, which makes no fucking sense, is Alan Scott.
Oh.
It makes no sense because he's not a part of the Green Lantern Corps.
Right.
Apparently his death triggers something within the Lantern Corps. I know he's meant to be like an honorary member, but they wouldn't know if he dies because his ring's not connected to them.
Oh my God. Do you see the super chat? Oh, I got to pull this up on screen. This is funny to me. South Texas Sharp with a chill super chat. Paige's profile pic looked like he recently got pardoned. It's using a picture of me with the freaking backwards Limp Bizkit photo hat on it. So funny. That's too funny. Thank you for the super chat. We are close to reaching the goal, you guys. 2 more super chats in 10 minutes, and we will reach the goal. Thank you guys in advance. I feel like we can do it. I feel like we're locked in. 2 more super chats, and we got it. All right, we're coming up towards the end of the stream, though, so let's go ahead and get our last topics in. This is about Sergeant Rock. So right now discussing film, and I kind of agree with this. We predict this year DC Studios will quickly move forward with Luca. I can never pronounce his last name correctly. Guadagnino's. I think it's Guadagnino's. Is that pronounced? Sergeant Rock film and have it released in May 2026 as the first DC film after Superman. What do we think about this? I think this is a good, because this movie could be made very quickly, honestly, compared to the other films. It's going to have a lot less CGI and VFX. Do we want it rushed that way? Do we not want it rushed that way? How are we feeling about it?
I don't know, but Supergirl comes out in what, like June?
Yeah, it's June.
It feels weird you'd do that.
Maybe April? Could they release it like late April, maybe?
You could even do it like a February. If if you have enough time to make it, just in terms of like tone. War movies do well around like Valentine's. Like I think those make good like Valentine's Day kind of movies, like date night kind of movies. I actually don't hate it. Not that it would be a problem, but I don't hate like splitting up the Kryptonian projects a little bit instead of your first being Superman, second being Supergirl. Like I don't mind having a little bit of a buffer just like in between those two. I know you have Peacemaker in between too, but like I'm okay with. I'd be okay with it.
It is also important to remember this is just a random from discussing film predictors.
Right.
That's
But there are a few things we do know. Like the one thing is that that a lot of people are saying that the movie's likely to be R-rated. I think that's probably a good, like, I think it will be. I don't know how you're going to do a proper war movie at PG-13 that's going to be graphic and violent. I feel like it has to be R-rated. But then that leans more into like, does he want this brand to be more inclusive or like how many R-rated projects are we going to release? Because I feel like Clayface is going to be R-rated too.
We've had more R-rated announcements than PG, like Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, Clayface, Swamp Thing. Yeah,
it's essentially that meme come to life from Michael Jordan. Fuck them kids, because they're not seeing any of these movies.
Yeah,
you under 14, get fucked.
Right.
I mean, I think this one's okay because I don't know if like kids wouldn't be interested in this one anyway. I don't think like this is one that's more so for a very different demo, I would imagine. So
we also got another update on our favorite character, Clayface. James Gunn here said the reports of Clayface's death have been greatly exaggerated. He is quite mushy though. I think this is probably the least surprising thing. I had a feeling...
let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
We're not going to walk around this, are we?
What do you mean?
He killed him. And then they greenlit a Clayface movie, so they're just going to pretend that he didn't die.
Oh, you mean that he had not planned to do anything with Clayface?
100%.
Yeah. I will agree with that, but I think the idea that he was dead. Once they greenlit the Clayface movie, I'm like, unless it's a prequel, which we went through the numbers, we ran the numbers on that. Logistically, that would have been a nightmare to try and make that movie work as a prequel. It would have just been bad.
Well, I think it will be a prequel.
You think it's going to be a prequel?
Well, it's either a prequel or it's meant to be the next Clayface. Because this could be the Basil Paolo version.
So I think it's going to be another. I think it's going to be another Clayface. I don't think it's going to be the same.
Yeah, so it's an origin story of the next Clayface after this one.
Clayface is also that guy though, where it's like he dies a lot, and then he's like, "Oh, actually, no, he didn't die." Like I feel like in every like Batman cartoon, he's always dying and coming back. So
yeah. And I think there's also an element I think most people know, though they might not want to admit, is that I think James Gunn is making a lot of the stuff up as he goes.
Anthony, we know James is a liar. Wow.
I don't know if James is a liar, but I think he makes stuff up as he goes along. which is bad because then you can trip over yourself 6 months, a year down the track or whatever it is.
Malcor is calling you out. That Lantern's leak is fake, PG. So.
I didn't say it was true. I'm just saying to just say it.
We have a super chat from South Texas Shark. Did you watch anything interesting this week? Well,
Eric sat down. Well, he was going to go in person, but he sat down and watched the inauguration. He was very excited with that.
No, I did not watch that this week.
Cheering and hollering.
I watched. I watched that movie Back in Action with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz on Netflix. I don't know if you guys.
How bad was it?
Well, Paigey, did you watch? Wait, you didn't watch it, did you, Darren? No. Paigey, did you watch it?
No, I saw that your best mate Lance did a review on it though.
It's probably interesting to me because it feels dated. It's the basic setup is like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where it's like these secret agents hiding in plain sight kind of thing. They have a family and they are running away because they hold the key to some sort of superpower of the world, like some sort of device or whatever. So the plot is very generic. It's a very simple, dated plot that we've seen before. If you're watching it because of Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. Let's be clear here.
Right.
That's the only reason you'll be watching
Can you
it.
get Cameron Diaz still act after all that break that she had?
I mean, it's okay. It's a harmless sit and watch a movie at home when you don't have anything else to watch kind of thing. It's not.
Check your brain off.
I wouldn't suggest like go out and watch it right away. Like it's not one of those things. But I certainly would feel like it's one of those things that you could easily turn your brain off for a second. And it's an hour and 40 minutes long worth of a movie. It's a little long for what it is, but the special effects are solid. The acting is fine. The storyline is you can follow it pretty easily. Yeah, I don't really have an issue with it. And it does set up a sequel if they decide they want to do one. So
Is that all you watched?
Well, he said interesting. I mean, I watch a lot of stuff regularly that's just regular TV shows and stuff.
Work-offs and stuff.
Find them very interesting. Like
I watched what did I watched? I binged the Newsroom. I got through it so quickly. It's one of the quickest I've binged a show in a while. And then it's, I think, weird, but I started like half rewatching. I say half rewatch because I never finished it. I only watched the first 2 seasons of it. But I started rewatching that show Girls, the HBO Girls show.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'd only watched like the first 2 seasons, I just started that. So I'm like almost at the end of the first season of that show. Because have you ever watched it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. No, I was just wondering. I'm just acting as if like you'd never heard of it. So.
It's not my go-to. Like, that's not a show that I would go to and watch. You know what I mean? So
yeah. No, well, because I didn't watch the first 2 seasons when they first came out. So then I saw it was then I was like, oh god, 6 seasons. I didn't realize that show came out.
Yeah, the super chat.
Seasons.
Look, Malcor pointed out the super chat from Texas Shark, the $2 to cap it off. I do appreciate it, so he did hit the goal. But let's go gooning up.
Hold on,
gooning up and locked in.
What did you see? There's another guy that got caught without his pants on in a drive-through.
No. Why do we keep going to this? This is why they keep flagging my shit. Because you
because they're calling them like the Goon Vengers or something like that. Like it's like some like thing.
I don't want to even talk about that. Like,
hold on, okay. If we had a goal of $500 in one stream, would you do that, Eric? Go through the drive-through?
No. If somebody tips you $500 when you break the law, yeah, of course I would do that. Yeah, no, absolutely not.
No, you might. It might be
dumb question. It's like so silly.
No, it's just an honest question.
Yeah, you like a break the
Pound
law for $500.
Just left Pound Town.
Yeah, it's not happening. So Cameron here's $2 super chat. Thank you, Cameron. Eric, have you seen Harley Quinn season 5 yet? I have. Wait, is it all out completely now?
No, it's a weekly drop, I think.
Okay, so no, I haven't seen all of it then. I was wondering if I missed something, like if all the episodes came out or whatever. But no, I haven't seen it yet. But I will say that I'm surprised out of all of the shows that survived through everything, Harley Quinn has stuck around through everything.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of great animated stuff go away. Like Young Justice is a good example of one of the ones that kind of like vanished. But Harley Quinn has stuck around.
Yeah, it's the only DC Universe show left on the air.
Would you have ever believed that if we would have told you
No.
after it's all said and done, Harley Quinn will be the last surviving DC Universe show?
Not only that, it's the only one that got a spinoff.
Kite Man, right?
Yeah. That's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. What do we got left in the, to quote Darren here, in the pipeline?
What about the Hulk tour?
We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to save that for the end, though, because that's too edgy. All right, let's look at this here. We got this comment here from Timothy Chalamet.
We shall see. We shall see. There's no aversion to these things, and honestly, the thought process is I want to work with good storytellers and good directors on projects that are fresh and in roles that feel challenging. And like I said, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, or Christian Bale's role in that film, or Tom Hardy, or Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises. Those are all, if it was something of that caliber, if it was a Nightwing film like that, then that's awesome.
So he's asked about, like, interested in doing Nightwing film. I will say, okay, so Timothy's amazing, great actor. But this constant return to that one specific movie is so weird to me in a lot of ways. Is it weird to anybody else? I feel like whenever we're talking about like these actors, these highbrow actors, go back to that movie. It's a great movie, but it is not the pinnacle that everybody thinks it is when you go back and you watch it.
To be fair,
it's like,
by looking at it, this is clearly from like maybe like 6 or 7 years ago.
well, maybe, but there's also these quotes here where he's talked about, where's it at here? From back in that era, where he said that The Dark Knight was the film that made him want to be an actor. Do you remember these comments or whatever? From when he said this?
I mean, I think he's just at that perfect age where he probably grew up on those movies. So he's probably just speaking from personal experience, right? Like he grew up on those. It said just here, like it inspired him to be an actor.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me that, like, yeah, that's his inspiration. Like, you know, same for me. Like, you know, I have movies that I reference again and again because I grew up on them or whatever. I will say I do not see him as Nightwing. I don't know why. I can't see him as Dick Grayson.
So who, like, if you were casting him in the Bat family, what character would you think he would be?
The Bat family? I don't know if I'd cast him at all in like the Bat family. I don't know. Probably.
Do you even see him in the DC universe at all? Like, is there a character you see him as?
Oh, I mean, I bet anyone could fit in the, you know, like given the right roles. Like there are millions and millions of characters. There's no one popping in my head where I'm like, I need this actor in this role. But I bet there's something. I bet there's a villain or a character that he would fit well. None that's popping to mind though. None that's like, oh, I need him.
You know, so Dark Knight is cinema. I don't think the movie is a bad movie by any stretch. I think it is one of the best Batman movies we've ever had, objectively speaking. But I've never liked Christian Bale's performance as Batman. I think he's a great Bruce Wayne. I think his Batman is weak. I think he has a weak, when he's in the suit and he's talking and he's doing his voice like this and all that shit, I think it's very weak to me. I don't like it. I think everything around him in these films are what make the films good. That's what I think personally. But, you know, people are going to disagree with me on that. That's fine. And then the last thing I saw here, I had this open as well. In Vogue magazine did the interview. Timothy revealed that Leonardo DiCaprio was the one to give him the advice: no hard drugs and no superhero movies.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't need them because he's got the Dune stuff. Like he's got the Dune money. He doesn't need the superhero movie now. So he'll get like another Dune movie, and then he can maybe do like another big. Well, now he's at the point where he just get paid a lot, like Leonardo DiCaprio is for being in any movie.
Mm.
It's
can we just look at just quickly what is dark woke?
I'm not clicking on anything in the trending tab on Twitter.
No, I'm just asking you. I'm not asking you to click on it. I'm just asking for a potential definition or explanation.
What it's if I click on it, then that would show what's. I'm not clicking.
Well, no,
on
I'm not asking you to click on it. I'm just asking if you know what it means.
Dark woke. I don't know. I mean,
dark web, but the woke version of dark web.
I'm assuming
the
it's
woke
like
version of dark web.
Anything with the word dark in it makes me think of like edgy 90s shit. So I just don't even know.
Like what Darkwing Dark.
No, it's not what that. That's not what that is.
I mean, okay, so this might take away my nerd card a little bit. It's not horrible advice, that second part, because like we love comic book movies, we love them, but the industry seems terrible.
Well,
like,
I mean, look at Chris Evans.
Yeah.
He's cooked.
Yeah.
He's gone. Mentally and physically. Or maybe not physically, but I mean, he can't.
It kind of puts you in a box, right? It kind of puts you in like you're the superhero guy, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, look at the like DCU, like look at all the drama that like transpired from there. How many careers that ruined and stuff like that. Like,
look at the chat there. Let's get dangerous. Click it.
No. I actually see what it is. I'm gonna pull up an example of it before we end the stream or whatever. But before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out to Paige's topic here, which is the Hawk Twa girl vanishing and missing after her crypto scheme, where she basically crashed everybody's money. And people are saying that she disappeared. Is she okay? What's happened to her? I'm under the assumption that she took the money and ran. When somebody has that much money, I feel like they leave the country and they disappear. That's what I think, personally. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what's happened. All right. So dark woke is apparently, how can I explain this on what I read here? It's people who are woke that are using all of the hateful stuff that is being done politically against people that voted against their best interest, if that makes any sense. So here's what they did. Like this one right here. Me calling ICE on my Mexican neighbor's illegal grandmother because they voted for Trump. So essentially a person that is woke who is squealing on people who voted for Trump against their best interest. That's what it seems like dark woke means right now.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So
Are there a lot of illegal immigrants in West Virginia, Eric? Or
I don't live in West Virginia, so I don't have an answer to that question.
Can I send
anyway.
you one last thing that I thought was kind of interesting?
Sure.
I don't even know what the source of this thing is. I just thought it was kind of a.
Well, that's the best ones.
Oh,
that's
I know.
God, is it?
Oh no, it's not like a
explicit?
rumor. It's like a ranking that they or like a poll that they put together of votes and stuff like that. I thought was kind of interesting.
By the way, we have a few more minutes on the poll if you guys want to vote. The options, we hit the goal, so they get the poll. Worst Flash villains as a bonus topic.
Hold on, Eric. Can we read Buddha Bear's chat there?
Well, let me finish this first. Worst Arrow villains topic. DC TV ranking stream, and I was just going to pick one of the random things. DC topic. That one's almost tied with comic book topic. So like a actual comic book topic. So something related to comics that isn't a cartoon, that isn't a movie, specifically about like comic books. So right now you guys can still vote on that. We got 58 votes, but we have like almost 80 some people watching. So if you haven't voted yet, please go and vote for that. The scheduled streams that are still to be done are Arrowverse villain ranking, DCU fan casting, and Arrowverse memes as a bonus topic. So those will all be scheduled this week. Darren, did you send it over?
Yeah, I sent it.
Okay. Before we do it, I'm going to click this chat because Paige's having a go with it with Buddha Bear. Hawk Tua is how it's pronounced, right?
It's Hawk Tua.
Yeah.
It's
Hawk Tua on that thing. Tua.
Tour.
Hawk
Look, fun fact, I've never seen the video. I've never seen the actual video of her saying
fucking shit.
Why would you tell Paige that? Now he's going to get us to watch.
I'm not watching it though, but I've never actually seen the video.
How have you not seen it?
Because everything I saw after because I never clicked on it. I was like, this is dumb. It's some like girl saying something stupid that got on TikTok.
I didn't burp yours truly. I had like a mini hiccup.
I saw it. It came from TikTok, so I knew it was brain rot. So I didn't click on it. So that's why.
But you watched that escalator clip I sent you the other day.
Yeah, but you never sent me this one.
Wait, play that escalator clip. Actually, can you play that?
No,
Australian.
No,
that was hilarious.
We're not playing that.
Why?
Because I don't want to go back and look for it. So, thank you, Michael, for giving everybody. Everybody, please like and subscribe. All right. So this is something that Darren sent over. Let's a community post from the Daredevil Council. Okay.
The sex council, man.
Did you know where that was? Did you know that's where it was from? Or
no, I just saw it show up on my timeline.
Yeah, the top it says Daredevil Council or whatever community post. So Ranker is giving the list of the I guess Marvel comic book TV shows or whatever, top 10. And
apparently it was done by 9,000 people, so I was like, that's kind of interesting. Just
so which Spider-Man is number 6? Is it the 90s one?
I would assume so, but could be Spectacular as well. I don't know.
I'll be honest. I'm just going to be straight up. The fact that Punisher had such a really bad second season and it still ended up number 3 is a little sus to me. I don't think the first season was good enough to beat out some of these other shows. I think the second season kind of tarnished that series for me.
I didn't finish the second season. I got halfway through. I'm like, no, not very good.
Yeah.
I'm shocked WandaVision is so low, to be honest.
I'm shocked Moon Knight is on this fucking list.
Jessica Jones kind of low too.
Where's Luke Cage?
I was going to say, where's Luke Cage at? I feel like Luke Cage is better than like several of these.
Where the fuck is Inhumans?
Well, Inhumans was never going to be here.
I mean, don't get me started on Agents of
What
Shield.
about Agents? Yeah, Agents of
I was
Shield.
gonna say
Yeah.
Agents of Shield should be in the top 5, easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
it's my favorite out of all.
What
of
about
them.
yeah, even like that. What's that show? Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
bad show. I didn't like that show.
How
Wow.
dare you.
I thought you liked that show, Eric.
I couldn't get into it. So the real thing about Cloak and Dagger, the problem for me was I felt like that show was written for a very, very, very specific audience. And I just don't think that was me. I think there was an audience that likes the romance aspect of Cloak and Dagger that was written into that show. It wasn't a badly done show by any means, but I think it was like a very big, like young adult romance type series. And that's just not the kind of stuff that I'm.
Yeah, I
Really
had
into.
heard previously it was more for the dark woke community.
Was it?
online.
Okay. I don't think Dark Woke existed back then, but okay.
It's always
Uh,
existed. Just now being
I think-
uncovered.
So I think it's kind of funny that Hawkeye is number 9 as well. I'm kind of shocked at that ranking.
Speaking of, well, you're just talking about Hawk 2R, so maybe Hawk
Maybe that's what it
2I.
was.
Maybe that. Maybe
Agent
that's
Carter.
really-
Yeah, Agent Carter was
that-
pretty good too.
I
don't know
Agent Carter. Yeah.
I don't know if Runaway should be on there, but Legion could have been on there. I think Legion is, but I don't think Legion is. It's a very niche audience, though. I think,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. I think the like lack of Shield is the only one that's kind of thrown me off a little bit because like
Yeah.
that had a very popular fan base. Like it.
I will say Daredevil being number 1 is the most unsurprising thing
Yeah.
ever, in my opinion.
Daredevil and Loki being top 2 makes sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, all right. So let's see what we have on the poll. Did we just get shifted around?
Yeah, it just like refreshed.
Yeah. Just like hella lagged and then kicked us.
It didn't even lag. For me, it just like refreshed, and everyone just was spinning around.
That's really weird. Okay, let's move everybody around here, back where they were. All right. Yeah, and for me, Pagey's icon isn't even showing up anymore.
Yeah, but it's doing that thing. If I do,
That must have been a StreamYard thing then. All right, let us in the poll.
I don't think you saw it, Pagey, but I did.
Let's end the poll here. See what we got. All right, winning with 32% of the vote, just barely edging out a DC TV.
Oh,
rating
edging.
Stream. Is a actual comic book topic. So what we might do then, what might be fun as an additional topic, maybe on the next stream, because I'm going to try and do the topics on the very next stream, is we can like talk about like our top 5 comic book events, like maybe things we've loved over the years, like top 5 comic book events of all time in our opinion. So yeah, Agatha not being on that list is kind of weird because Agatha was also really good.
Yeah. I wonder if it was from the like Daredevil fandom. So it's
I'm
like
assuming
maybe
it probably was.
yeah, so it's like maybe it's very biased to like
Mm,
action shows and stuff like that. So
maybe.
I don't know.
So yeah. How would you rank the list? I think there's a lot of things on that list that would be shuffled around for me.
Yeah.
You know what we might do? Because we have a bonus stream where we're gonna do like another ranking. I might flip that around and do it as like a Marvel TV show ranking, so we
That'd
can
be
do
fun.
that. Might be fun to do that, and I'll include some of the animated stuff as well. But anyway, I think that's where we're gonna wrap everything up. We're at 2 hours.
Well,
and
quickly,
14
did
minutes.
you did you talk to our
Okay, with that being said, we're going to end the stream. Thanks, everybody, for being here, and we will see you on, what's today? Thursday. We'll see you on Monday. Take care. Bye.
Bye.